subscribe, like the video, and, if possible, join Patreon. But if you don't have much money, you can support the channel by watching the novels on euroaudiobooks.com. Remember that you can participate in the polls so that your favorite novel gets published for free.
Came over. It's just that she pulled Xiaozhi's clothes and hid behind Xiaozhi. It didn't take long for Metapod's solid shell to break open from the inside. The brilliant light of evolution blooms along the opening. Subsequently, the entire shell of Metapod was broken open, and the light of evolution slowly dissipated. Butterfree flapped her wings and flew up to soaring in the sky, happily scattering scale powder. Under the sunlight, it looks like stars, exceptionally beautiful. Xiaozhi and the other two were fascinated by what they saw. Bah! After flying in the air for a while, Butterfree returned to Xiaozhi and told him his joy after evolving. Xiaozhi talked quietly, and from time to time chatted with Butterfree with gestures and guesses. He even took this opportunity to release a few other Pokemon so that everyone could have a good chat. Butterfree evolved in a Metapod not long after being conquered by Xiaozhi when he was Caterpie. After that, he almost stayed in the baby ball and never came out. They're not very familiar with the Pokemon that Xiaozhi conquered later. From now on, we are all partners in the same team, which can enhance our relationship. It is always good to get to know each other better. There's more to breeder Pokemon than just training and fighting. If that were the case, Pokemon wouldn't be called a companion. Instead, it's called a battle pet. Xiaozhi has a really good relationship with his Pokemon. Xiaozhang looked at Xiaozhi and his entourage who were playing around and couldn't help but sigh. Well, Xiaozhi loves Pokemon more than many people. Misty agreed, and then released her own Pokemon to join in the fun. It is worth mentioning that after Butterfree evolves, is still a bug-type Pokemon. But Misty isn't afraid of it anymore. After all, it's not the bug-type Pokemon it's afraid of, but the caterpillar ones. In addition, Xiaozhi's Flash Gyarados has a gentle temper towards his companions. It also made Misty's fear of Gyarados dissipate a lot. Even Flash Gyarados can accept it. Those ordinary Gyarados that are much smaller than Flash Gyarados, and could even be described as petite and cute in front of them, don't seem so scary anymore. Stop the journey and wait for the evolution of Metapod. In the end, it was abruptly played into a party of 3 Pokemon. It can be regarded as a spice during the somewhat boring journey these days. After the party, Xiaozhi and his party packed up their bags and set off. Soon they arrived at the foot of MT Moon. As soon as I got here, I heard a scream. Along with the screams, there was also a system prompt in Xiaozhi's mind. Xiaozhi was very happy after not receiving a system mission for a long time, and felt that the speed of strengthening his strength had slowed down a lot. Chapter 23, Primary Affinity Halo. Ding. Trigger the mission. Find out the culprit of the destruction of MT Moon's ecology and punish him. Mission reward. Primary Affinity Halo. Wild Pokemon Earl Dervish's favorability increases by 10% note. Includes wild mythical beasts. Xiaozhi led the 2 of them towards the miserable growl while checking the mission content and rewards. Couldn't help but smile. Primary Affinity Aura? Wonderful. My affinity is already outstanding among trainers, but if I add the Primary Affinity Aura, is it possible that we won't have to fight in the future? The tiger's body was shaken, and high-qualified Pokemon from all sides came to vote, and this halo can actually have an effect on mythical beasts. Not bad. Xiaozhi took over the task decisively. As the growl became more and more urgent, Xiaozhi and his group, who were anxious for justice and love for justice, accelerated their speed. It didn't take long to arrive at the place where the tragedy occurred. At this time, a researcher wearing a white coat and glasses was surrounded by a group of Zubat. Fortunately, the opponent's physique is not bad, and the level of these Zubats does not seem to be high. Otherwise, Xiaozhi and the others might not be able to survive. Butterfree used the sleep powder to quiet these Zubats. Xiaozhi sent out Butterfree. Pokemon, Butterfree level, LV12 potential, quasi-elite ability, compound eyes skills, sleep powder, stun spore, poison powder, gust, tackle, etc. Intimacy 255, full value 255. Thanks to the profound accumulation during the Caterpie period as soon as Butterfree evolved, his level reached LV12. It is 2 levels higher than the normal Butterfree's LV10. And he also learned several core scale and powder skills. Combined with its compound eye ability to increase hit rate, it can provide a good field control effect. In this case, sending Butterfree is most appropriate. Moreover, there are many Zubat in this group, and their level is not high. It just so happens to be Butterfree's first battle after evolving. You can also give Butterfree, who is currently the lowest level in the team, some experience to increase his level. It's simply a double-edged sword. Bah! After receiving Xiaozhi's order, Butterfree flew into the air, its wings fluttering rapidly. Tens of thousands of scale powder, accompanied by the flapping of its wings, fell into the Zubat group. The man in a white coat and glasses who was surrounded by the Zubat group immediately seized the opportunity to escape. Looking at the Zubats sleeping on the ground after being hit by the Butterfree sleep powder, I still had a lingering fear in my heart. Pokemon, Butterfree, level LV12, LV17. The contribution of this group of Zubats directly improved Butterfree by a full 5 levels. Xiaozhi is delighted with Butterfree's improved strength. The man in a white coat and glasses rushed over with tears in his eyes and wanted to hug Xiaozhi. My benefactor, thank you so much. Disgust was visible on Xiaozhi's face, and he quickly ducked away, causing the other party to miss him. Refuse to post. She's from a grown man's family, not a beautiful girl. Why throw yourself into your arms? After some conversation, Xiaozhi and his party learned that the man in the white coat and glasses was named Seymour, is a researcher at the Science Museum in Nibi. Because recently it was reported that the precious moon stone can be excavated at MT Moon. As a result, the ecological environment here was destroyed by unknown persons, so Seymour came to patrol. Zubat, whose home was destroyed, mistakenly thought he was the culprit and was besieged. Xiaozhi twitched the corners of his mouth. You said you didn't bring a Pokemon or anything with you when you went out on patrol. Are you so big-hearted? Not to mention your own safety issues. Brother, are you here to stop unknown persons from destroying the ecological environment of MT Moon? Not bringing a more powerful Pokemon. Even if you really find an unknown person. How to convince the other party? Mouth escape? In short, Xiaozhi was speechless. As if he noticed something, Seymour stretched out his hand and scratched his head in embarrassment. Decide that next time you encounter this situation, you must bring Pokemon with you. If Xiaozhi and others hadn't happened to pass by here today, his research career might have ended here. After introducing himself and MT Moon, Seymour begged Xiaozhi and his team to help him find the culprits responsible for the destruction of MT Moon and punish them. Return the Pokemon living in MT Moon to normal. Not to mention the generous rewards from system tasks for the sake of the wild Pokemon living here. Xiaozhi will also help with this, and he, who is familiar with the plot, knows that it is no one else who destroys the ecological environment of MT Moon. It was his old friends, the Rockets trio. I heard that there was a moonstone in MT Moon, so I started my mining career. If you want to earn more activity funds, continue to capture your own Pikachu. In short, you can find them by following the mining traces. Apart from the fact that it takes some time, the rewards from this mission are almost free of charge. Xiaozhi agreed to help Seymour without hesitation. Misty and Xiaojiang are both passionate about Pokemon. I also deeply hate those who destroy the ecological environment and the home of Pokemon. The three decided to act together. Oh, and we have to add Seymour, the oil bottle. He saw that the three of them were willing to help. I was excited again and wanted to hug Xiaozhi, but Xiaozhi kicked me away. Be prepared, and the 4 of you enter the cave across MT Moon. It is worth mentioning that before entering the cave, Xiaojiang subdued a Zubat. I want to use Zubat's ultrasonic positioning to play a role in the next cave operation. As for Misty and Xiaozhi, just skip them. One is a Pokemon master who wants to become a water type and has no interest in other attribute Pokemon. The other is simply because the requirements are too high, and the group of Zubat at the entrance of the cave are incomprehensible. In addition, the evolved Butterfree also has supersonic skills, so there is no need. With the traces left by the Rockets trio, Xiaozhi and his party found them easily. After defeating them, the tools were also destroyed. They were not given a chance to continue the plot. After that, I met the Clefairy tribe living here. Under the illumination of the moonlight, witnessed the mysterious rituals held by the Clefairy around a huge moonstone. There are Clefairy-assist moonstones throughout the ceremony to complete the evolution. The magical scene made people say that the trip was well worth it. In order to thank Xiaozhi and his party for protecting MT Moon, Clefairy and the Clefables gave each of them a moonstone. With a full harvest, the group bid farewell to Clefairy and the Clefables. Passing through MT Moon, we arrived at the next city, Cerulean City. Chapter 24. Pidgeotto Golden Squid Feed. Arriving in Cerulean City, Xiaozhi and his party went directly to the Pokemon Center to check in. During this period, Xiaozhi, who was very happy to see her, began to pursue Nurse Joy from Cerulean City. A classic scene that was ruthlessly interrupted by Misty's ear-twisting attack. In the evening, Xiaozhi took the recovered Pikachu and other Pokemon from Nurse Joy and planned to go out. Xiaozhi was still at rest, but Xiaozhi didn't call him. He thought about letting Misty, a native of Cerulean City, take him outside for a walk. Unexpectedly, Misty's room was empty. It seems that when approaching Cerulean City, Misty seemed a little worried. Perhaps he was timid about being close to home, and he ran away from home. Shaking his head, Xiaozhi took Pikachu and left the Pokemon Center alone. I'm used to having someone by my side all the time, but it's a little uncomfortable to be alone for a while. Come to Cerulean City, a store with a good reputation that specializes in selling Pokemon supplies. Sold the moonstone given by the MT Moon Clefairy. The quality of the moonstone given by Clefairy is much higher than the most common moonstone, and it is a mid-grade moonstone. Usually the value is around 100,000 Alliance coins. And because moonstone can be used to evolve popular and powerful Pokemon in the Kanto region, such as Nidoking and Nidoqueen, very in demand. In the end, Xiaozhi sold a total of 120,000 Alliance coins. A wave of blood was returned to his shrinking treasury. Xiaozhi made some money after selling Ho-Oh photos in Viridian City and the bounty for capturing the Rocket Trio. Naturally, he would not treat his Pokemon badly. The best energy cubes and Pokemon food are used. Pikachu are fine. They can't eat much given their size. But Xiaozhi has a Flash Gyarados in his hand, twice the size of a normal Gyarados. One meal is enough to feed Pikachu for a month. It can be called a mobile gold-eating beast. Even though Xiaozhi is quite wealthy, he can't bear to eat like this. The balance once dropped from 250,000 Alliance coins to 150,000 Alliance coins. Fortunately, Xiaozhi joined the team later and can help with most of Flash Gyarados' food. Significantly reduce the rate at which Xiaozhi's small treasury shrinks. Otherwise, Xiaozhi could have worn it as pants. After selling the mid-grade moonstone given by Clefairy, the balance of the small treasury increased again from 150,000 Alliance coins to 270,000 Alliance coins. It gave Xiaozhi a lot of security. As the saying goes, if you have food in your hands, you won't panic in your heart. With Xiaozhi helping Flash Gyarados with most of the food, Xiaozhi's 270,000 Pokemon coins can still last for a long time. And if you complete Option 2, defeat the Cerulean Gym with Misty as rival and get the Cascade Badge. You can get another medium-grade Water Stone from the system, and then you'll get another 100,000 Alliance coins. Even if it means subduing Snorlax now. Forget it, just kidding. If Snorlax doesn't restrain his appetite, he can eat up an island's fruit in a few days. You can finish an average person's annual amount of ramen in one go. The little money Xiaozhi had was really not enough to build it. In the original plot, luckily Professor Oak helped raise him. Otherwise, no matter how reluctant you are to let him go, you can only bear the pain and let him go. However, after completing Option 1 and defeating the 3 Sakura sisters as rivals Cerulean Gym, the reward is a collector's edition photo album of Misty. Forget it. Let's wait and see who rival is in tomorrow's challenge. Everything depends on God's will. Xiaozhi shook his head and stopped thinking so much. With 270,000 Alliance coins in his arms, he went to replenish a wave of supplies, mainly energy cubes and the like. There's also some equipment needed for the exercise program he created. Wealth value minus 45,000 balance. 225,000 with a bulging backpack. Xiaozhi returned to the Pokemon Center. Xiaojing has woken up, but Misty's room is still empty. Before going to bed, Xiaozhi lay on the bed. Check out the rewards from previous Metapod Perfect Evolution missions and Protect MT Moon missions. With a thought, I took out the Pidgeotto exclusive golden garbage feed rewarded by the evolution mission from the system space. Pidgeotto was released again. By Pidgeotto, who thought a fight was about to break out, immediately looked around cautiously, only to find that it was Xiaozhi's room. He cast a doubtful look at Xiaozhi. Pidgeotto, take it easy. There are no enemies. Xiaozhi touched the smooth and shiny feathers on Pidgeotto's back and said with a smile. Then he raised the golden food in his hand. Pidgeotto, this is special feed for you. Come and eat it. Pidgeotto was visibly excited and couldn't help but flap his wings. What makes our own trainers somewhat different from normal trainers is the consensus reached by several of their Pokemon. On the night when he conquered Golden Magikarp, Xiaozhi gave Golden Magikarp something to eat. This allowed it to complete its evolution in a very short period of time. And the evolved body is twice as big as the normal Gyarados. It's a special feed worth asking Xiaozhi to take out at night when no one is around. It's definitely not a bad thing. The strong wind generated by the flapping of Pidgeotto's wings made Xiaozhi feel like he was moving while sitting on the bed. Okay, Pidgeotto, don't get excited. Xiaozhi looked at Pidgeotto's bright eyes in amusement. Then, with its expectant eyes, I fed it the golden garbage feed. After eating Gene Keela feed, Pidgeotto felt a warm current in his body. But it seemed like an illusion normal, which only lasted for a short time and then disappeared, hiding deep in the body. Compare. Pidgeotto, who was already prepared for his big change, tilted his head in confusion. The effect of this special feed will not be revealed until you evolve into a Baidiao. By the way, Pidgeotto, let's eat this candy too. Xiaozhi explained with a smile. Immediately, a battle begins for the group passing MT Moon. Pidgeotto, whose level was upgraded from LV28 to LV29, ate a primary rare candy. After Pidgeotto ate the elementary rare candy, his level increased to LV30. It has crossed the threshold of elite level Pokemon. Except for the 2 for Pikachu and the 1 for Pidgeotto, Xiaozhi still has 3 primary rare candy left in his hand. Flash Gyarados is already level 25. Xiaozhi plans to wait until it upgrades 2 more levels to LV27. Give it all the remaining 3 basic experience rare candy. Let it be raised to LV30 as soon as possible and enter the elite level. As for the first Pokemon that Xiaozhi captured, Butterfree, after defeating the Zubat group, several more battles took place. The final level stays at LV19. It's still far from level 30, so eating it now is a waste. I can only wait and see if there is a chance. Chapter 25, Awakening the Power of Waveguide in Advance. After eating Golden Koala Feed and Rare Candy, Pidgeotto, who was flying around the small room excitedly, put it back into the baby ball. Xiaozhi sat down cross-legged on the bed, and then used the reward obtained from the mission of protecting MT Moon, the primary affinity halo. Xiaozhi shivered as his body became cold. Aura added. It seems that it was not added. In short, Xiaozhi didn't feel any change from before. Let's take a look at how wild Pokemon treat you later. A 10% increase in favorability is indeed not low, and the effect should be visible to the naked eye. Xiaozhi thought to himself. Morning, Xiaojing. Good morning, Xiaozhi. Hey, where's Misty? Why don't you see her come out? The next morning, Xiaozhi and Xiaojing met in the cafeteria of the Pokemon Center. Xiaojing looked at Xiaozhi's side and found that Misty, who usually stayed there, was missing. Come to think of it, it seems like I haven't seen Misty since I checked into the Pokemon Center yesterday. I don't know, maybe I went home and took a look. Isn't Misty's home in Cerulean City? Well, how about we wait for Xiaozhi to find Misty after you finish the Cerulean Gym and get the Cascade Badge? Regardless of whether she is traveling with us or not, we must first ensure her safety. Xiaojing suggested. Cerulean Gym is very famous in Cerulean City. Especially today, there was a water ballet performance by the three Sakura sisters at Cerulean Gym. Xiaozhi and Xiaozhang followed the flow of people and easily found the Cerulean Gym. Since Xiaozhi was the trainer who challenged the Cerulean Gym, he received 2 free tickets for the water ballet performance. When the two arrived, the water ballet had officially begun. Anyway, there is no gym challenge so soon. With a critical attitude, Xiaozhi enjoyed a lifelike water ballet. Dugong is so white. Shelter is so big. After the performance, the audience exited one by one. Xiaozhi excused himself to use the restroom and temporarily left the venue. Drive away the trio of Team Rocket who were planning to wreak havoc and capture Pikachu and other Pokemon from the Cerulean Gym. Then he came backstage and issued a gym challenge to the three Sakura sisters. Xiaozhi, you came at the right time. We just got the Pokemon that were treated this morning. Sakura, who changed out of her underwater ballet costume and wore a long skirt, took out a Pokeball from behind. Go ahead, Seal. The battle rules are 1v1. If you defeat me, you can get the Cascade Badge. The gentle and intellectual voice sounded a little sad at this moment. Obviously, the other party really doesn't like Pokemon battles. Not just her, Misty's other 2 sisters are like this too. The hope of revitalizing the Cerulean Gym rests entirely on Misty, the 4th sister. Pokemon, Seal, level, LV18. Sakura's Seal grade is not low, and in terms of coat color and other aspects, Breeder's 1 is also very good. It's just that his eyes are a little timid. Apparently, like its trainer, it doesn't like fighting. Xiaozhi shook his head slightly and did not embarrass his sister-in-law and her Seal too much. He released Butterfree casually and commanded Butterfree to hit Sleep Powder to end the battle. No harm was done to Seal, just a sleep would be enough. I received a grateful look from my sister-in-law Sakura. It can only be said that Misty's 3 sisters are more than a little worse than Misty in commanding battles. If Misty was here, Xiaozhi would never drag Dottie to release Butterfree. Butterfree's main method is various scale powder attacks. If rival is Misty, they will definitely take advantage of the home field advantage of the water venue. Jump into the water to break the situation before being surrounded by scale powder, and use the advantage of sight in the water to seek opportunities to counterattack. Xiaozhi, since you defeated Seal, please accept this Cascade Badge. At this time, Sakura took out a blue drop-shaped badge from somewhere and handed it to Xiaozhi. Xiaozhi nodded and reached out to take it. Prepare to put it in your own badge box. Just then, an accident happened. A small white hand snatched the Cascade Badge from Xiaozhi's hand. Xiaozhi, who recognized the owner of these hands, suppressed the muscle memory of using his grappling hands. Misty, why are you here? At this time, Xiaozhang's eyes narrowed slightly because of surprise. He asked doubtfully, because Misty is our youngest sister. The trio of beautiful Cerulean Gym girls plus the ugly duckling sister. Violet, the second sister with blue hair, stepped forward to explain. Oh, what ugly duckling sister? It's obviously the water-type Pokemon Master Misty and her 3 loser sisters. Misty crossed her hips in displeasure. What's wrong with her? It's obviously very good-looking too. It's just that the clothes I usually wear are a bit unfeminine. Plus, I'm still young. On the contrary, her sisters are really useless. When my parents were still alive, the Cerulean Gym was ranked among the top in difficulty in the Kanto region. Ever since it was handed over to her 3 sisters, Wang Xiao's New Year celebrations have become worse every year. From the top of the ranking, it suddenly became the weakest gym in the Kanto region and the most challenging gym. Sometimes there is no need to fight, and the badge is given away for free. The Cascade Badge is ruined. Some powerful trainers don't even bother to collect Cerulean Gym badges. Turn to challenge gyms that are more difficult. If it weren't for the water ballet performances that maintained the gym's popularity and a little bit of face from the late parents, Alliance officials might even disqualify Cerulean Gym. It made her embarrassed to say that she was from the Cerulean Gym when she walked out. Anyway, Xiaozhi, let's have another gym match with me. Misty stared at Xiaozhi with burning eyes. She watched the battle between Xiaozhi and her sister Sakura just now. It wasn't so much a fight but it was Xiaozhi playing with Sakura. Such childish gym battles not only make cerulean gyms look down upon, it also has no effect on Xiaozhi, who wants to gain absorb combat experience through the gym competition and compete in the Indigo Plateau Conference in the future. She wants to have a Pokemon battle with Xiaozhi using the Cerulean Gym Cascade badge as a bet. Ding! Trigger the mission. Have a Hardy Water Pokemon battle with Misty. Let the 3 Sakura sisters see Misty's strength. Reward for completing the mission. Awakening the power of the Waveguide in advance. Xiaozhi raised his eyebrows slightly. Why does this sound so much like a wife-protecting mission? Broken. Have you bound yourself to the boss system? Chapter 26. Water Civil War. Xiaozhi, who was looking forward to rubbing the Aura Sphere, readily accepted the task. Still 1v1 like before? Misty nodded. Xiaozhi reached for the Pokeball belonging to Flash Gyarados on his waist. Accompanied by an overbearing, almost deafening roar, Flash Gyarados slammed his body into the pool, occupying almost half of the water field. The water level, which was still some distance offshore, suddenly rose. A lot of water overflowed from it. The entire venue became soggy. The 3 Sakura sisters were startled by Flash Gyarados and exclaimed, "As the Cerulean Gym leaders, they're no strangers to Gyarados. When I was a child, I even had close contact and play with the Gyarados raised by my parents." However, after seeing Xiaozhi's red flash, a Gyarados that was more than twice the size of the normal Gyarados, the ordinary Gyarados, who used to be quite domineering and vicious in their eyes, has become a little temperless kitten. Will Misty face such a powerful rival later? Can she do it? Knowing that Misty had some psychological shadow on Gyarados due to childhood reasons, the 3 Sakura sisters quietly tightened their fists. He looked worriedly at the thin figure on the battle stage. Although she was mentally prepared, Misty was still a little scared when she faced Flash Gyarados from rival's perspective. But she didn't have the nerve to show it in front of her sisters. I was holding on to normal legs, which were a little soft and felt like noodles. Released her gym battle trump card, Starmie. Even though he really wanted to win, he didn't shy away from using the few powerful Pokemon left behind by his parents. Only your own breeder could be considered a fair fight. Pokemon, Starmie. Level, LV29. It can be seen that Misty Starmie is used as the main breeder. Although I was a little scared when facing Xiaozhi's Flash Gyarados, I quickly overcame my inner fear. The small body stood on an ice floe, trying to compete with Flash Gyarados in terms of momentum. Waiting for instructions from Trainer Misty. Are you about to become an elite Starmie? It's a pretty good rival. Xiaozhi nodded secretly. The gap between Flash Gyarados and Starmie on the field is not as big as others think. In terms of level, Flash Gyarados is 4 levels lower than Starmie. In terms of attribute, Flash Gyarados is Water plus Flying type. Starmie is Water plus Psychic type. The 2 sides are evenly matched, and there is no attribute restraint. And since it was his first time playing, there was no room for Flash Gyarados' overconfident ability to show off. In terms of ability, it even has a certain disadvantage. Coupled with the limited size of the venue, it is definitely not as flexible as the petite Starmie. This battle is still interesting. If it weren't for the system mission requirement, you need to use Water-type Pokemon to battle. Xiaozhi sent Pikachu directly. One shot of 100,000 volt can be carried away directly. If I don't push you too much, I'll be fine. It's just that the mission requires it, so there's nothing we can do about it. Who made Xiaozhi eager to awaken the power of Waveguide in advance? Starmie used Swift. Misty took the lead in commanding Starmie to break the atmosphere of confrontation. Swift's power is normal, but its hit rate is very high. In addition, Misty Starmie has the ability to glow, and the size of the venue limits Flash Gyarados' dodge. This first move is almost guaranteed to hit. Misty plans to try it out with Swift first. Generally speaking, except that the difference in strength is too great. The battle between Pokemon does not start at a high level. It is always accompanied by various tests and small tactics to understand the opponent's weaknesses or flaws. Seize the opportunity and defeat the enemy with one blow. Gyarados carry it down, their plus bite. Flash Gyarados' body is very strong, and exploratory skills like Swift's will do minimal damage to it. Coupled with the limited space, it is impossible to dodge effectively. Xiaozhi simply let it come down hard, and then used the classic combo of Leer and Bite. Flash Gyarados' menacing visage works wonders when using Leer. Starmie was inevitably affected, and her defense level dropped. Even the reaction movements are slower than before. After using Leer, Flash Gyarados opened his mouth wide and bit Starmie. Starmie, jump in the water. Misty's command was timely and did not let Flash Gyarados' Leer plus Bite combo hit. After seeing Starmie jump into the water, Misty patted her bare and thought to herself that there was still a chance. With the small space and Starmie's flexibility, there might be a chance to counterattack. Gyarados' tail, Twister. Xiaozhi is waiting for now. Naturally, he would not think that basic small combos like Leer and Bite could defeat the opponent. His backhand is hidden by Gyarados' tail. When activating Leer, quietly prepare Gyarados. Facing Bite behind Gyarados' Leer, Misty will most likely make Starmie jump into the water to avoid it. Then in the water, he took advantage of his small size to fight Gyarados. And when it jumped, it happened to fall into Xiaozhi's trap. At this time, a water spout was seen in the field. After everything calms down, Starmie floated up from the water into circles. It seems that he has lost his ability to fight. The three Sakura sisters who were watching the battle shuddered. Sure enough, these tactical players have dirty hearts. Fighting is not fun at all. Water ballet is still interesting. After handing over the Cerulean Gym badge to Xiaozhi, Misty stomped her angrily after seeing the performance of the three waste sisters. She tried her best to have such a fight with Xiaozhi. In addition to maintaining the dignity of the Cerulean Gym, I also gave Xiaozhi some combat experience. I still want to see if I can inspire the fighting spirit of the waste sisters through this battle, even though the command level is still low. At least don't be so perfunctory about gym battles, or even give away badges without fighting. Who knew that the three of them were still unable to hold themselves up the wall? This gym will be disbanded sooner or later, just counting on the flashy water ballet and the dignity of the dead parents. How long can it last? Misty sighed softly and tightened the backpack she had loaded with Gyarados' breeder secrets, putting the incapacitated Starmie back into the baby ball. I was not in the mood to say goodbye to the three Sakura sisters, so I asked Xiaozhi and Xiaozhang to leave. Prepare to go to the Pokemon Center to recover Starmie before heading to the next stop. Sakura, Violet, and Lily were left looking at each other. Chapter 27. Receive rewards and double happiness. What should I do? Misty seems angry. Second sister, it's all your fault. What did you say about the trio of beautiful Cerulean Gym girls and the ugly duckling Sister Misty? It's better now. I made her angry and left. Lily poked her second sister, Violet, on the back. Okay, stop arguing. Misty is not angry, but disappointed with the three of us. The eldest sister, Sakura, stopped the quarrel between the two younger sisters and shook her head helplessly. How could she not understand why Misty left in anger? It's just that the three sisters have such personalities that it's difficult to change them. In addition, his talent in combat is mediocre. Now relying on the popularity of water ballet Layla, she can barely maintain her qualifications in the gym. I just don't want my family's inheritance to be cut off, and I want to try my best to support it. When Misty grows up, Baton Pass will be in Misty's hands. I hope Misty can take this disappointment in the three of her and turn her grief and anger into strength and grow up better in the next journey. Traveling is truly a growth accelerator. It hadn't been long since Misty left home last time, and the improvement shown in the previous battle was quite obvious. Is it because there are excellent companions around her that push Misty to keep improving? Sakura couldn't help but think of Xiaozhi's performance just now. An idea couldn't help but arise in my mind. It would be great if Xiaozhi could be bound to the Cerulean Gym. In this way, Cerulean Gyms don't have to worry about their continued decline. Just like when my father met his mother and chose to be Cerulean Gym leaders together. Ding! Complete the Cerulean Gym Challenge mission using Option 1 and Option 2 at the same time. Reward. Misty's collection of photo albums stored in system space. Reward. 1 medium-grade water stone, already stored in the system space. Ding! Complete the Water Pokemon Battle Mission with Misty. Reward: Early Awakening of the Power of Waveguide to be received. Note: Please stay in a safe and quiet environment when awakening. After leaving the Cerulean Gym, Xiaozhi checked the mission rewards. To his surprise, he and Misty also had a gym battle with the Cascade Badge as a bet. It was actually determined that Xiaozhi completed the task with 2 options at the same time and received 2 rewards. Double the fun. In addition, he can also awaken the power of Waveguide in advance. It's just that you need to stay in a safe and quiet environment when you wake up. It's obviously not suitable now. It needs to be used quietly in the dead of night. In this way, Xiaozhi was immersed in the system task rewards. Misty is depressed and taciturn because of the disappointment with her 3 sisters. Xiaozhi, whose consciousness no longer wandered and returned to reality, looked at the low-pressure Misty. His lips moved, but he still couldn't say anything. Although he is an experienced driver, he is just a loud-mouthed king. Comforting people is really not his specialty. Adjust your pace and walk side by side with Misty silently. By accompanying her in this silent way, I look forward to Misty's recovery. Xiao Gang, who noticed the low pressure in the team, wanted to make a joke and liven up the atmosphere. I saw Xiaozhi and Misty walking side by side silently. After a while, he passed him without even noticing it. He suddenly froze in place, looking stunned. He seemed to be a dog on the roadside and was kicked by someone. The clown is myself. No, he also wants to find a girl he likes and have a sweet love. Xiao Zhang's beautiful eyes were shining with crystal light. Xiaozhi, I'm fine, thank you. Pokemon Center, after picking up the restored Starmie from Nurse Joy. Misty's mood has returned to normal. Her personality is cheerful and lively, and she only needs to digest many emotions by herself. You're welcome, and I didn't do anything. Xiaozhi shook his head. Hey, Misty, why are you just thanking Xiaozhi but not me? Seeing that the atmosphere was revived and Splash came, Xiaozhang quickly interrupted. Xiaozhang, you are here too. I didn't see you just now. I'm sorry, Xiaozhang. Okay, you two are playing like this, right? Starting from Cerulean City, the next destination on the journey is Vermilion City. The system also promptly released tasks to challenge the Vermilion Gym. Task description: Use Pikachu to defeat the Raichu of the owner Majishur with the power of thunder, and say a baby is a baby, as weak as its owner. Task completion reward: Master Ball 1, Intermediate Rare Candy 3, used by Pokemon below LV50. Level +1. After seeing the task description, Xiaozhi's mouth twitched. The rewards are generous, and the mission content is not too difficult. After going through his own breeder, the current Pikachu is far more powerful than it was at the same time. When you challenge Vermilion Gym in a while, you will become even stronger. Accomplishing the task is not difficult. The key is that Majishur of the Vermilion Gym is not the normal gym leader, but one of the Team Rocket executives. Use his classic sayings to show off in front of him. It's actually a bit exciting. If this was really done, nothing would have happened on the spot. But when you meet him as a rocket later, why don't you come up and say something heartfelt to you? But the mission reward is the Master Ball. The Pokeball is said to be able to 100% conquer all Pokemon. Even if the real effect is not as powerful as in the Pokemon game, it is still very precious. Done. The worst thing is to level up more. When the time comes, talk to Majishur about something heartfelt. A flash of determination flashed in Xiaozhi's eyes, and he decisively accepted the task. You've stuffed the reward into your mouth. Why don't you accept it? Night campsite. After Misty and Xiaozhang fell asleep in their respective tents, Xiaozhi got up from the sleeping bag. Be prepared to see some shady things done. Ahem, it's not just about criticizing and appreciating the photo album with an artistic eye. What's more important is awakening the power of Waveguide. It was still early, so Xiaozhi turned over and took out the collector's edition photo album from the system space. I plan to give it a good critique. At this time, Misty's voice sounded like a ghost outside the tent. Xiaozhi, are you asleep? I have something to do with you, broken. Xiaozhi trembled. Chapter 28, Awakening Waveguide. Things that have been taken out of the system space cannot be put back again. Xiaozhi directly stuffed the photo album under the pillow. As soon as it was placed, Misty unzipped it from the outside and got in. He also held a thick book with a white cover in his hand. At this time, Misty's face was slightly red, apparently a little shy about coming to the boys' tent late at night. Xiaozhi, this is some experience from our cerulean gym on breeder Gyarados. You can take a look at it when you have time. It should be of some use to you, Misty said, handing over the white booklet in her hand. Xiaozhi quickly took the white booklet. The book is heavy to receive, and every bit of its weight embodies the hard work of successive cerulean gym leaders. In the original plot, Gyarados, who later became one of Misty's main heroes, even knew how to flamethrower. It can be seen that there is really something in this Gyarados breeder cheat book. Allows Gyarados to learn fire-type ultimate moves that are contrary to its own attribute. You know, in the real Pokemon world, there are no bugs like skill machines, not to mention skills that conflict with your attribute. Even those skills that can be learned naturally after reaching a level in the game may not be fully understood, unless the talent is outstanding enough. It can be seen that the Cerulean Gym's Gyarados training secrets are among the best in the entire alliance. This is the contradictory attribute ultimate move that even Gyarados, the flying elite dodo, failed to learn. The Skill Machine TV animation does not exist. It only appears once in the special episode. It is not set here to make it easier for Xiaozhi to cheat. Misty, thank you. Xiaozhi put his hands on Misty's shoulders, looked into her eyes, and solemnly thanked her. What's there to be thankful for? Our family has breeder water-type Pokemon for generations, and there are still many secrets like this. The sudden physical contact made Misty's face turn red. His eyes were slightly evasive, not daring to look into the eyes of Xiaozhi, and he said arrogantly. Xiaozhi's expression did not change, and he smiled secretly in his heart. After Misty fed, her whole body was soft, except for her mouth, which was still hard. Even Gyarados, the flying elite dodo, couldn't learn the ultimate move that contradicted his own attribute. How many Cerulean gyms have such precious secrets? Then simply remove the Yulon clan and call them the Water Controlling clan. Yeah, there are many. Anyway, thank you to our Misty. Xiaozhi suppressed laughter and responded. Xiaozhi, I'm going to kill you. Misty naturally heard a hint of ridicule in Xiaozhi's words. He hit Xiaozhi's instep and ran away. Although she has a lively temperament, she is even a little carefree on weekdays like a tomboy. But this was the first time I came to a boy's residence alone. Although this accommodation is a bit crude, it is just a small tent. After Misty left, Xiaozhi carefully put the white paper in his hand into his backpack for later use. Then he took out the photo album from under the pillow and opened it. After a moment, he closed it in disappointment. The content of the photo album is far from what Xiaozhi imagined. In short, these are photos taken when Misty was traveling to the beach with her family when she was a child. Not to mention that Misty, the Lolita in the photo, is too young. There aren't many swimsuit photos, and they're all in extremely conservative ones, and other photos were taken in regular clothes. That's it. Also called a photo album, collector's edition. I casually threw Misty's travel photo album back into my backpack. Xiaozhi let his mind go, preparing to awaken the power of the Waveguide. After thinking about it, I felt that the campsite was still not quite suitable. If there was too much noise when she woke up and Misty and the two were woken up, they would have to explain themselves again. Thinking of this, Xiaozhi woke up Pikachu. Pikachu was sleeping soundly, with a small transparent bubble on the tip of his nose. Suddenly, Xiaozhi shook him awake, with a little resentment on his cute little face. Pikachu, I need your help for something next. I'll give you 2 more packets of ketchup for breakfast tomorrow. Xiaozhi put Pikachu on his shoulders. Flash, Gyarados, Pidgeotto, and their baby balls were hung on their waists. Pikachu, a loyal tomato ketchup lover, immediately lost all his energy when he woke up. The short, chubby hand waved forward, looking even more anxious than Xiaozhi himself. Xiaozhi hurriedly walked away from the campsite until he was several thousand meters away before he stopped. This is an open grassland with only 1 or 2 small trees as tall as a person for hundreds of meters around. There's no place like this nearby. Come out, everyone. Xiaozhi released Flash Gyarados, Pidgeotto, and Butterfree. Roar them ba like Pikachu just now. The third pet is also a little confused. Please stay with me for a while. If there are wild Pokemon approaching, don't let them interfere with me and just drive them away. Xiaozhi didn't know what would happen if he awakened the power of the Waveguide in advance. But the system specifically reminds you to find a quiet and safe place. And there must be a reason for it. Pick up, then several pets patted their chests to show that they were wrapped up. System, issue rewards, and awaken the power of Waveguide in advance. After Pikachu and several Pokemon dispersed, Xiaozhi thought silently in his heart. Ding! Rewards are distributed. As a message passed through his mind, Xiaozhi's eyes went white and he lost consciousness. After an unknown amount of time, consciousness returned to the body. Opening his eyes, Pikachu looked at him nervously. Pikachu, what happened after I fainted just now? Pika Pika! Pikachu shook his head, indicating that nothing happened. Pidgeotto and the others nodded in agreement. Just now they only saw Xiaozhi fainting suddenly. Instinctively, they want to try to wake Xiaozhi up. But he thought of Xiaozhi's previous instructions and didn't dare to act. He just stood by silently, waiting for Xiaozhi to wake up. Xiaozhi nodded. It seems that awakening the Waveguide in advance will not cause much noise, but it must not be disturbed. A quiet and safe environment is needed. Putting the matter behind him, Xiaozhi called up his personal panel. Chapter 29. Big changes in personal panel. Enhanced Waveguide talent name. Xiaozhi title. None beauty. Misty, favorability 79, is not bound. After binding the beauty, the favorability will not decrease. Note, those above 80 are considered lovers. Those above 90 are in love forever. Pokemon. Pikachu, Flash Gyarados, Butterfree, Pidgeotto, special ability, primary affinity aura. Wild Pokemon's favorability increases by 10%, including wild mythical beasts. The power of primary Waveguide, beginner, intermediate, advanced, master, grandmaster. A natural Waveguide hero has been awakened and strengthened in advance. He can naturally strengthen as he grows older, or his level can be improved by triggering tasks. Improvement speed. 1 level/year note. The peak power of Yalong Waveguide is the master level. Current mission. Surpass the old enemy Gary at the Indigo Plateau Conference and convince him. Mission completion reward. Potential enhancement ribbon bronze. The potential level of Pokemon with elite potential and below will be increased by 1. Special beauty mission. Become a journey companion with Misty, completed, and confirm partnership, to be completed, mission reward. Reversal of Brother Chang's badge. After wearing it, the relationship in the harem will be harmonious, and the plot of the hatchet will never be fast-forwarded. Elementary Psychic. Main mission. Win a championship as rookie in the Indigo Plateau Conference. Mission reward. Hide ability effect modification scroll. Advanced Rare Candy 2. Pokemon below LV70 can be upgraded by 1 level. Intermediate Rare Candy 5. Pokemon below LV50 can be upgraded by 1 level. The potential enhancement ribbon Silver can increase the potential by 1 level after being used by Pokemon below the champion level. Side mission. Use Pikachu to defeat Vermilion Gym leader Majishar's Raichu with the power of Thunder, and say, "A baby is a baby, as weak as its owner." Mission reward. Master Ball 1, Intermediate Magic Candy 3. I haven't opened my personal panel for a long time, and the amount of information is a bit large. Xiaozhi briefly sorted it out. First, surpass Gary in the Indigo Plateau Conference ranking and convince him, and obtain the 2 tasks of Quartz Conference Champion. It's not time yet, so ignore it for now. The challenge of Vermilion Gym is the next one to complete. As for Misty's beauty mission, let's take it 1 step at a time. So far, we're halfway done. We have successfully become a journey partner. We just need to confirm that we are a companion. Moreover, Misty's favorability level for her is also quite high, and it has reached 79 points unknowingly. It's just a little short of reaching 80, which is comparable to a lover. That's true, if you don't have a little affection. Would anyone give themselves the Gyarados Breeder's Secret Book that is a family heirloom? I'm afraid it's not with the mentality of being a dowry. It seems now that the favorability score has exceeded 80 points and the partnership is confirmed. It is almost a matter of course. It's just that with Misty's proud temperament, it's a little difficult to take this step. Of course, if Xiaozhi takes the initiative, the task will be completed soon. But Xiaozhi had no idea of taking the initiative to advance. He likes too many people and is quite philanthropic. In addition, the system is also crooked and uses mission rewards to encourage him to start a harem. Even in the Pokemon world, strong people can have polygamous wives. But the person who takes the initiative in a relationship is always in a weak position. If he takes the initiative, he will be embarrassed to start a harem without Misty in the future. I had no choice but to adopt the scumbag's approach. Don't take the initiative, don't refuse, but be responsible. It's obvious that he's a scumbag. Xiaozhi, just want to give him a home. By the way, even Misty wasn't the first one to come. It was considered that Serena, who had been secretly in love with him since she was a child, was cut off in advance. Forget it. Skip this question for now. Xiaozhi shook his head and bound a beauty to Misty so that his favorability would not drop. Then check out the next item, the power of the Waveguide that has just been awakened in advance. Right now, his Waveguide Power is only rudimentary, and he only has the ability to sense emotions and the surrounding environment. It is impossible to communicate directly with Pokemon, but I can now roughly understand what Pokemon is saying, and I don't have to rely on tacit understanding to half-guess like before. Want to achieve inner communication and use Waveguide projection to create barrier, interfere with reality, attack, and defend. I guess I have to wait until the power of the Waveguide reaches the intermediate level. As for hand-rubbing Aura Sphere, you have to wait until the advanced level. The power of a master-level Waveguide is already comparable to the legendary Yalong, who lent his Waveguide to Mew to quell a war. Pretty much the ceiling of a Pokemon World Waveguide or something. As for the Grandmaster level, no one has ever been able to achieve it. If we take Yalong's expressiveness as a master Waveguide power as a reference, Grandmaster level Waveguide power can definitely cope with divine beasts. And he's not a trash god like Senshenio. He should be able to express himself as a first-level god. Normally, it is impossible for human beings to reach this state. But Xiaozhi is a natural Waveguide hero, and he has been systematically strengthened. As you grow older, the power of the Waveguide will naturally increase. Advance one level every year until you become a master. If the corresponding system tasks are triggered midway, you can also advance the time to reach peak growth. From now on, please call him Little Mega Rookie, Humanoid Beast. Xiaozhi closed his eyes and tried to mobilize the Waveguides in his body to sense everything around him. As a kind of spiritual energy, Waveguides perceive the world much more clearly than what can only be seen with the naked eye. Conversion of every inch of land, even every piece of leafage. The perception of Xiaozhi's Waveguide is extremely clear. Even the rhythm of the wind cannot escape Xiaozhi's Waveguide perception. If this is used in a battle, one can easily detect the opponent's weaknesses and flaws. It's simply called cheating. If you advance to the intermediate level, you can communicate with Pokemon telepathically, which will give you an even greater advantage. Wonderful! Those who practice martial arts cannot compare to those who cultivate immortality. Those who work out hard can't compete with those who cheat. With the power of Waveguide, his path to becoming a Pokemon master will be much smoother. Chapter 30. Beautiful morning, Shy Misty. After digesting all the information, Xiaozhi looked at Pikachu and Pidgeotto, who were staring at him worriedly. A warm current rose in my heart. He shook his head and gave him a don't worry look. Everyone, I'm fine. I just suddenly awakened some special powers. Now I can understand what you're saying. I can even have inner conversations with you directly in the future. After hearing Xiaozhi's explanation, the worry in Pikachu's eyes dissipated, replaced by surprise. If you can understand what they are saying, won't there be no obstacles to future communication? This is a great thing. Although they now have a tacit understanding with Xiaozhi, the communication between them is basically limited to simple ones. For more complex content, they are basically like a chicken talking to a duck. It is necessary to compare and draw, and to guess and be confused. This will no longer be a problem from now on. Pika Pika Pikachu. Bibi. Surprised, several pets said some relatively complicated words to Xiaozhi one after another, which they usually have to barely understand through gestures. Xiaozhi understood them all through the power of waveguides and translated them into human language and repeated them again. This convinced Pikachu and the others. Then it was like encountering a fun game, and I kept talking. Okay, everyone, it's already very late now. Go back and rest early. There will be many opportunities for communication in the future. Xiaozhi looked at the excited Pokemon, raised his forehead helplessly, and stopped them in time. What he awakened was the complete power of the waveguide, not the experience card. There will be more opportunities for communication in the future. The pets looked up and saw that the moon was already high on the branches in the sky. Apparently, it's getting late. Speaking of which, they were woken up from their sleep to protect Xiaozhi. I am actually very sleepy now. After hitting yawn, they all returned to the baby ball. Xiaozhi and Pikachu also quietly returned to the tent and got back into their sleeping bags. There was no movement to wake Misty and the two. Pikachu, good night. Pika Pika. Good night, Xiaozhi. Maybe it's because I've experienced too many things tonight, although I feel very sleepy. But when Pikachu fell asleep, he even snored cutely. Xiaozhi is still very energetic. He happily releases the waveguide to sense everything around him. It wasn't until dawn that he fell into a deep sleep. It's time to get up, Xiaozhi. The sun is shining on your butt. 2.5 hours later, the sun rose 3 poles. Seeing that Xiaozhi had already prepared breakfast, Xiaozhi, who always got up early in the past, still didn't come out of the tent. Misty got into Xiaozhi's tent and straddled Xiaozhi's waist in an intimate way that she didn't even realize. He pressed Xiaozhi's shoulders and shook him, trying to wake him up. Well, good morning, Misty. Xiaozhi slept for too short a time. His consciousness was still a little unclear, and he was not aware of Misty's intimate movements. With 2 big dark circles under his eyes, he hit yawn. Why are you so early? The sun is already shining on your butt. Xiaozhi, you have so many dark circles under your eyes. You didn't stay up very late reading Gerudo's breeder cheats last night, did you? Well, it wasn't very late. It must be that the quality of sleep was not very good. The awakening of the power of waveguide is difficult to explain, so Xiaozhi prevaricates casually. Suddenly, he noticed that Misty's body stiffened in front of him, and his face looked a little strange. A touch of red rose quietly climbed onto her fair cheeks, and her delicate earlobes turned into attractive red agate. Xiaozhi shrank his toes in embarrassment. Broken. His cheap daddy's good brother came to see him. Anyway, Xiaozhi, please get up quickly. I'm going to have breakfast. Misty put her hands on her hands and climbed up quickly. He left Xiaozhi's tent in a flash. Well, in every sense of the word. Xiaozhi was wearing an apron and waiting for the two of them to come and dine at the simple dining table. Xiaozhi was not seen, but Misty ran out of the tent with a red face. There was a teasing smile on his face. It's great to be young. Then he was attacked with an iron fist by the ashamed and angry Misty, knocking him to the ground. You sound like you're 70 or 80 years old. After punching Xiaozhi, Misty calmed down a lot. His face regained some composure, and he sat at the dining table and ate breakfast. However, after Xiaozhi finished washing and sat down, his expression became a little unnatural. Recalling the little ambiguity just now, I felt extremely embarrassed. Why is she obsessed with Xiaozhi? That's not how you wake someone up, right? Hateful. Xiaozhi grinned and rubbed the shoulder that had been punched. Sure enough, Misty's tenderness was only for Xiaozhi. It looks like the petite fist will hurt a lot when it hits someone. When can he meet a big sister who is gentle to him? In the future, we will arrange a female passerby to let Xiaozhi leave the team early. Although the trio in the Muji chapter is very classic, the characters Sabrina and Cynthia in the back also really poke at Xiaozhi's aesthetic. Save the embarrassment and just leave. This book focuses on pure pleasure in the harem and making up for regrets. Compared with Misty's embarrassment, Xiaozhi, who was the culprit, said goodbye to Uncle Chun, who often visited him. He was eating breakfast as usual. As long as I'm not embarrassed, others will be embarrassed. This made Misty, who was secretly observing Xiaozhi, stamp her feet under the table in shame and anger. How could this bad Xiaozhi remain calm even after such an embarrassing thing happened. It's not him who suffers emotionally, right? Hateful. He must also taste the iron fist of the beautiful girl Misty. Misty felt resentful and wanted to use her iron fist to repair Xiaozhi. Suddenly, I remembered Xiaozhi's terrifying force value. Immediately stopped. When the time comes, don't hit someone and get F-ed instead, and Xiaozhi will give him a good repair. Why is Xiaozhi practicing so hard when he has nothing to do? So much so that I didn't even dare to do anything. By the way, I'm not a coward. This is called emergency avoidance. That's due to Xiaozhi's terrifying force level. Misty felt at ease in front of the ostrich. Chapter 31. Winning streak mission. After having breakfast in a somewhat awkward atmosphere, Xiaozhi and his party then set off for Vermilion City. Although he didn't get much rest, with Xiaozhi Mega's true rookie physique, it doesn't matter if he misses a little sleep. Just catch up on some sleep tonight. Just because of the embarrassing things that happened in the morning, the aura of the trio along the way was a little strange. Xiaozhi and Misty kept a close distance and moved forward silently. Misty secretly glanced at Xiaozhi from time to time, and then quickly looked away. As for Xiaojing, the bright light bulb, he consciously fell and hung 10 meters behind the two of them. Reduce your presence as much as possible. Ding! Trigger the system mission. Use Pikachu to get 300 consecutive wins and defeat the Beastman AJ mission completion reward. Pikachu level plus 10, current progress. 4 out of 300. After using Pikachu to fight several wild trainers one after another. The system came out and released a mission of 300 consecutive wins, which created a wave of presence. Pokemon, Pikachu, level. LV31, Pikachu hasn't encountered many decent battles since he leveled up in Viridian Forest, and his leveling up is very slow. So far, it has only stayed at LV31 and has initially entered the elite level. Xiaozhi was worrying about how to quickly improve Pikachu's level, so he triggered this winning streak mission. With Pikachu's level, it is not difficult to defeat the wild trainer on the roadside. The biggest problem in this mission is how to complete such a high level of battles and defeat the Beastmaster AJ. If I remember correctly, the opponent's trump card Pokemon is a ground-type Sandshrew. Xiaozhi's Pikachu should be restrained on attribute, although it has not evolved. Judging from the performance in the original plot, the level is not bad. Moreover, he has undergone intensive training specifically to target his weaknesses, and his strength is impressive. Moreover, the other party is not an NPC. He will not stand there waiting for you all the time. He will start traveling after reaching 100 consecutive victories. If you want to challenge the opponent, you must complete the task as soon as possible. Shaking his head, Xiaozhi temporarily put the problem behind him. Let's complete the 300-game winning streak first. After 300 consecutive victories, Pikachu should have accumulated a lot of combat experience. If you add in the level 10 rewards for completing the mission, Pikachu's level will be unparalleled in the team, becoming a well-deserved trump card Pokemon in his hands. As soon as he said it, Xiaozhi began to consciously search for wild trainers and invite them to compete in Pokemon battles. It's just that wild trainers are not NPCs in the game, and their number is limited after all. In one morning, Xiaozhi managed to complete more than a dozen battles. Advance the mission progress to 20/300. If we continue at this rate, I don't know how long it will take to complete the task of 300 consecutive wins. Xiaozhi, if you want to have a Pokemon battle with other trainers, you could go to a nearby town. I just saw the sign. Walking about 10 kilometers in this direction, there's a sizable town. After a morning of calming down, Misty, who had put the morning embarrassment behind her and returned to normal, proposed to Xiaozhi. Unlike the game, where there are only a few major cities, in addition to the familiar big cities, the real Pokemon world also has many small and medium-sized towns and a larger number of villages. The world view is still very large. At this time, there was a town of decent size not far from Xiaozhi and others. You should be able to meet a lot of Pokemon trainers inside to help Xiaozhi complete the winning streak mission. Xiaozhi, who felt that the completion progress was too slow, also had this intention. Seeing that Misty brought it up first in an understanding manner, she immediately nodded in agreement. Later, The two asked Xiaozhi's opinion, and after obtaining consent, they headed towards Daosui Town together. After a while, Xiaozhi and the other three arrived in Daosui Town. This is a very typical town in the Kanto region, without much distinctiveness. But the scale is not small. It is larger than Pallet Town in Xiaozhi's hometown. But it is far behind in terms of fame. As a famous hometown of champions, Professor Oak's laboratory is also located in the town. Pallet Town is somewhat famous all over the world, let alone in the Kanto region. Not worse than those big cities. After arriving in Daosui Town, Xiaozhi did not immediately find someone to challenge him. Like Pallet Town, most Pokemon trainers who have pursuits and dreams set out to travel. The people who stayed in the town were basically people who had settled down and were not necessarily keen on Pokemon battles. If you launch a challenge rashly, whether others agree or not is still the same thing. Xiaozhi decided to lure him with benefits. Went to an advertising store in town and made a big banner. No matter who it is, as long as you defeat him, you can get a water stone worth 100,000 Alliance coins. In the Pokemon world, the purchasing power of Alliance coins is roughly equivalent to that of soft sister coins in previous generations. The monthly income of ordinary people working in the town is around 3,000 to 4,000 Alliance coins. And Pallet Town is the hometown of champions and has a small population. Income is generally very high, even higher than that of some big cities. Refer to the small Nordic countries in the previous life. This is why Delia, a single-parent family, gritted her teeth and was able to spend 10,000 Alliance coins every month as Xiaozhi's travel expenses. But now Xiaozhi can earn his own money and travel without having to work so hard for his mother, Delia. Last time I was in Cerulean City, I sent Delia some money. My mother Delia was so moved that she called Xiaozhi a promising and filial person. Xiaozhi used a medium-grade water stone as a gimmick, which was enough to attract many people to challenge him. And this is not a gimmick. After all, Xiaozhi really has the water stone, and if he loses, he will give it away. When you come out to hang out, you must be trustworthy. Chapter 32, 300 consecutive wins. I walked around the town with Xiaozhi holding a banner. When he arrived at the central square of the town, there were already many people following Xiaozhi. One of the men, who was wearing a white vest and showing dark, strong muscles, glanced at Xiaozhi and asked, "Kid, if I defeat you, I can get a middle-grade water stone. Is it true?" Xiaozhi, a kid who has reached the mental age limit, has black lines on his forehead. Seeing that the other party was a little moved, he still resisted the desire to complain. "Yes, uncle, no matter who you are in this town, as long as you defeat my Pikachu in a 1v1 battle, you can get the mid-grade water stone." With that said, Xiaozhi took out the medium-grade water stone that was awarded for challenging the Cerulean gym from his bag, put in Misty's hand, and asked Misty to keep it for you. "By the way, show it to the townspeople here. Young man, I will challenge you. You stay away. I followed you first. Young man, I'm here to fight you. Don't worry, I'm also very strong." The genuine, middle-grade water stone is placed in front of you, and there is no room for doubt. This is 100,000 Alliance coins, which is higher than the salary of many of them in 2 years. If you don't seize the opportunity to challenge yourself, will you regret it for the rest of your life? And when they looked at Xiaozhi's Pikachu, they didn't feel that it was that strong. This way can be fought. Pikachu is very common in the Kanto region and is not a rare and powerful Pokemon. The young man responded with a Pikachu, fearing that some young master might not have come out to throw money. Can you miss this? First come, first served. There is only one water stone. Don't let others get first. Immediately, many people challenged Xiaozhi. There was also a quarrel over the order of challenges. Some people who didn't have Pokemon also saw this as an opportunity and ran home to call over their family members who had Pokemon. The originally empty square suddenly became filled with people. Fortunately, they were still somewhat sensible and knew to leave a large enough battlefield. Coupled with the fact that Misty and Xiaozhi were on hand to help direct, there was no chaos. Okay, let's go on a first-come, first-served basis. I will accept 280 challenges here. Everyone comes one by one and has a chance. It was the old man in the white vest who asked first. so let him be the first to challenge. Xiaozhi's eyes flashed with joy when he saw so many people gathered in the square. He cleared his throat and said loudly. He also used a bit of Waveguide Power when speaking to make his voice cover a wider area, so that everyone in the venue can hear it clearly. This young man is quite capable. I'm afraid he's not the so-called money-giving boy. Some smart people noticed that Xiaozhi's operation was not simple and thought to themselves, but I still couldn't resist the mid-grade water stones captivate. This is 100,000 alliance coins. And no matter what, the opponent is just a Pikachu. How strong can it be? If he were powerful enough, he would have evolved into Raichu long ago. Maybe people are just bored and come here to play with money? Who knows what these wealthy young men think? At this time, Xiaozhi, the rich man, was facing his first rival, the uncle with black skin and white vest. His Pokemon is a Mach-Hop, the porter's favorite Pokemon to capture. It costs less, and you can work hard to make money along the way. A must-have divine pet to support your family. Pokemon, Mach-Hop level, LV24. Although the uncle's Mach-Hop has not yet evolved into Mach-Hoke. But the level is not bad. There are 24 levels. It is taller than many wild trainers and insect-catching boy Pokemon that Xiaozhi encountered on the road. As a rival, I can also provide Xiaozhi's Pikachu with a little more experience. Pika Pika, knowing that he was about to play, Pikachu jumped off Xiaozhi's shoulders. He looked full of fighting spirit. Mach-Hop, rush in and use low kick. The uncle in the white vest commanded. Pikachu duck, then thunder shock. At the same time, Xiaozhi also issued his own instructions. Rival is not very strong, so there's no need to use overly powerful skills. Save some energy, and you can face more challenges. You can also take a few breaks in the middle to complete the winning streak mission as soon as possible. After a long delay, Xiaozhi has already completed his 100-game winning streak. Pika! Machop's attack was slow in the eyes of the agile Pikachu, and he easily dodged it. Then a small, powerful thunder shock hit the opponent and knocked him out of combat. Game 1, Mach-Hop versus Pikachu. Pikachu wins. Misty acts as a referee. Come back, Mach-Hop. The man with black skin and white vest reluctantly took back the Mach-Hop and turned to leave. Machop's defeat also kicked off Pikachu's winning streak. Game 67, Raticate versus Pikachu. Pikachu wins. Game 75, Oddish versus Pikachu. Pikachu wins. Played 75 games in a row and pushed the mission progress to 95/300. It was getting late, and Pikachu was a little tired. Xiaozhi asked the remaining people to challenge again tomorrow. Then he took Pikachu to the hospital in Daoshui Town for treatment, regained his strength, and found a hotel to stay in. Inaho Town is just an ordinary town, without a Pokemon Center or joy. But the town's hospital can also provide simple treatment. On the second day, Xiaozhi and Pikachu, who had regained their full energy, were accompanied by Misty and Xiaojing. Then complete the challenge that you didn't complete yesterday. Game 182, Night Arena versus Pikachu. Pikachu wins. Game 261, Spearow versus Pikachu. Pikachu wins. Game 280, Geodude versus Pikachu. Pikachu wins. Mission progress, 300/300. The winning streak challenge is completed. As long as you defeat the Beastmaster Xiaozhi, you can complete the task. At this time, all the residents of Daoshui Town were numbed by Pikachu's winning streak. Looking at the yellow electric mouse standing on Xiaozhi's shoulder, he looked down on him in the past. There is no more contempt in my heart. Chapter 33. Pikachu, LV39 in their town. Pikachu unexpectedly won 280 games in a row. There are even attributes to restrain it, such as Geodude and the like. But none of them can defeat Pikachu. Not even one that hurt Pikachu. At first, they had the goal of defeating Pikachu and obtaining the mid-grade water stone worth 100,000 alliance coins. Eventually, I just gave up. It became their own internal competition. See whose Pokemon can last longer under Pikachu. Or let Pikachu use a more powerful skill. After seeing Pikachu's power, many children watching the game secretly decided to become trainers when they grow up. Be sure to tame a Pikachu. Also kill everyone like Xiaozhi. Pokemon, Pikachu, level LV39. I was LV31 when I came here, and I was already LV39 when I left Daoshui Town. Although the level of rival is generally not high, there are too many of them. After 280 games, it is no exaggeration to say that Pikachu has risen to level 8. If it weren't for the fact that the higher the level, the harder it is to improve, it wouldn't be surprising to upgrade a few more levels. At this time, Pikachu only needs to level up one more level to reach the gym level. Among all Pokemon, it can be considered the strongest, at the level of gym leaders with a relatively large span of strength. Pokemon at level 40 can already serve as the main Pokemon for weaker gym leaders. Xiaozhi and Pikachu are about to reach this point not long after they just set off on their trip, which is really not bad. In addition to the efforts of the two, it is also due to Pikachu's own talent and the hidden benefits of the system. Pokemon with high potential not only have a high growth limit, but also level up faster. To put it in more concrete terms, it is more efficient to absorb combat experience. In the same battle, you can gain much more combat experience than a Pokemon with low potential, or those trainers who have been traveling for years. The Pokemon in their hands don't even have elite or elite potential, but at least there are one or two trump cards with elite and gym potential. After going through so many battles and experiences, it should have reached its growth limit long ago, and its strength is impressive. Gym-level trainers should be terrible, but this is not the case. Gym-level trainers are still the backbone of Alliance, and almost all of them have their own special training methods. It can help Pokemon realize its potential. In a city that is not very big, you can serve as a gym leader. If you join a team directly affiliated with Alliance, you can serve as a senior investigator, or some captain-level figures of the elite action team. Pikachu's own high talent ensures its growth ceiling and speed. The hidden benefits of the system allow it to be directly upgraded as long as the combat experience is in place. There is no such thing as card level. This caused Pikachu to upgrade like drinking water. Pikachu is very strong now. Xiaozhi, who is the former gym leader, and Misty, who will take over as the gym leader in the future. Not to mention anything else, in terms of eyesight alone, it is far from what the normal trainer can match. In the challenge of Daoshui Town, Pikachu's attitude became more and more relaxed, and it could be clearly felt that Pikachu's strength is growing rapidly. This made them sigh at Pikachu's talent. I also admire Xiaozhi's special breeder method. Improving strength with almost no bottlenecks cannot be summed up by saying Pikachu is very talented. Although I was not aware of any other measures, Xiaozhi must have contributed to them. System. Yes. Xiaozhi suddenly became enigmatic in their eyes. However, both of them pretended not to know. For any trainer, the exclusive Pokemon breeder method is extremely precious and should be kept secret. They don't want to lose Xiaozhi as a friend because of curiosity. As for the Gyarados breeder cheats that Misty gave away, except that I really don't want Flash Gyarados talent to be wasted, I can only say that I understand everything. Xiaozhi didn't know that Misty and Xiaozhi were making up their minds. At this time, I was thinking about challenging the Beastmaster A.J and completing the final requirement of the winning streak mission. Get Pikachu level up rewards up to 10 levels. By then, he would be considered a strong man. The Beast made A.J set up a simple arena, hoping to complete a 100-game winning streak before setting off on the trip. Now he has won more than 90 consecutive games and is very famous in the surrounding area. After leaving Daoshui Town, Xiaozhi randomly caught a few wild trainers on the road. I found out where A.J is. Don't push too much, just kill him. Wow, 98 consecutive wins. Although it is not as good as Xiaozhi and Pikachu, it is still very impressive. Following the direction pointed by the wild trainer, Xiaozhi and his party arrived near the simple arena set up by AJ. At this time, a tall plaque showed 98 consecutive wins. Misty couldn't help but admire. Well, it's indeed impressive, but it's a little hard to understand that the opponent insists on winning 100 consecutive victories before setting off on the trip. Xiaozhi nodded in agreement. Oh, you can't compare to him and that yellow-skinned mouse? It's so funny. At this time, a sneer came from not far away. Looking around, he saw an arrogant young man with green bangs holding a whip. Beside it stood a yellow sand shrew. It's the beast that makes A.J and his Pokemon. Pokemon, Sand Shrew level, LV30 Chapter 34. Advance to the gym and transform into Misty. Hey, who do you look down on? Xiaozhi easily obtained 2 gym badges and achieved 300 consecutive wins using Pikachu. Isn't this better than your 98-game winning streak? Misty couldn't bear to see Xiaozhi and Pikachu being looked down upon, so she immediately rolled her eyes and responded. 2 gym badges. To be able to win the gym battles so easily, he must be challenging some pheasant gym, right? It's interesting to have a 300-game winning streak. It's a pity that you met me. Then let your 300-game winning streak end with me, and it will become my 99th consecutive victory. J in the original plot was very conceited. After hearing about Xiaozhi's brilliant record, not only was he not afraid, but he became even more power trip. And his phrase, Pheasant Jim, directly cue Misty and Xiaojiang. It annoyed both of them. Knowing that Xiaozhi was coming to challenge A.J, they immediately encouraged Xiaozhi to teach him a lesson. The opponent looked down upon Pikachu's 300-game winning streak, but did not cue Xiaozhi. What is your identity? What is my status? Just treat the other person as barking. Although he has not been able to train Pokemon for a while, he created his own lightning 5-lash whip to assist in command. Even ground types, Sandshrew overcame her fear of water. But how does it compare to this cheater like him? There is absolutely no comparison. Just think of him as an NPC watching the Pokemon game. Defeat him, complete the mission, and leave without any regrets. Regarding the fact that A.J's methods of training Pokemon are too harsh, Xiaozhi had nothing to say and didn't want to care. I don't have any objections to my own Pokemon, so I am managing it as an outsider. Purebrain is sick. Although he loves Pokemon, he is not a virgin BCH. Maybe someone else's Pokemon has been trained to have emotions. Do you just like the little leather whip and small firing? Of course. The most important thing is that the system has not released any tasks. Noti Wolf. And changing the opponent's training methods is not a positive energy. Maybe it will also cause a trainer who has a good future and has a chance to become a gym, or even a quasi-elite to perish. No matter how you think about it, it is impossible to trigger the positive energy hidden rewards of the system. Xiaozhi is not interested in taking care of it, and he is not idle. He shook his head and suppressed his thoughts. Looking calmly at the barking beast in front of him, A.J, it's useless to talk too much. You can see the truth behind your hands, he said, patting Pikachu on the shoulder. Go ahead, Pikachu, it's up to you. Snapped. The green-haired J, he didn't say anything, and just whipped ground with the whip in his hand. Sandshrew, who had been trained in a special way of communication, responded and came to Pikachu. Bikotu, saz egis nulla volt. Although A.J Sandshrew has not evolved, its level has reached LV30. It could be regarded as barely reaching the elite level. His moves and skills have been trained to a very mature level, and he has even overcome his weakness of being afraid of water. Coupled with the absolute advantage of ground type over electric type, it seems to be able to compete with LV39 Pikachu. But reality is not a game, and ground type is very effective against electric type skills. But it's not completely ignored. For Pikachu, that's enough. In the face of absolute strength, attributes mutual restraint is just a bell. Pikachu's level is beyond level 8, and he carries a light ball. The full power of 100,000 volt is no small feat. A.J, who looked confident, was planning to let Sandshrew take it down. Then he admired Xiaozhi's confused expression and condescendingly mocked the importance of attribute restraint. Then Pikachu defeated Sandshrew with a 100,000 volt. It brought him a wave of thunder and lightning Dharma King shock. One couldn't hold it back, lost control of his expression, and put on a mask of pain. No, Denki hits ground, can you kill me? On the other side, Xiaozhi, who received the system task completion prompt, enjoyed another wave of classic Sichuan opera face-changing skills. Double joy. Guys, do you know what the value of a reverse attribute master is? What? Is it inappropriate for a reverse attribute master to be a dog? What did I say that? Misty Xiaozhi, who also admired A.J's beauty, drank Coke during the dog days of summer and felt very refreshed. What pheasant Jim? There is simply a way to die. Misty Xiaozhi, let's go. The mission is accomplished, and Xiaozhi doesn't want to stay here too long. Speaking of which, Team Rocket, which was supposed to follow them, didn't come, which was a bit strange. But it just saves trouble. It's still annoying to be stuck by these 3 brown candies, especially now that the opponent's level is not high and the combat experience they can provide is very little. It's like useless. After the 3 people left, 8.J, whose heart was almost seriously damaged, finally cheered up. I will clear the 98-game winning streak on my plaque and plan to accumulate 100 consecutive wins with Sandshrew before setting off again. I wonder if I can leave the novice village when this Indigo Plateau conference is over. On the way to continue setting off, Xiaozhi took the time to receive the mission reward. Pokemon Pikachu level LV39 Elite LV49 Gym. With the addition of level 10 rewards, Pikachu's level will directly reach LV49. Standing at the top of the gym level, just level up 1 more level or eat a mid-level rare candy. It can be upgraded to LV50 and become a quasi-elite level Pokemon. It doesn't take long to calculate the time. Just wait until you complete the mission of beating up Magishur in Vermilion City. Xiaozhi, Pikachu, and the mouse were in a good mood and hummed a tune happily. Misty on the side was a little confused. It's just a Sandshrew for a second. Are you so happy? Wait, that Green Bangs just dissed me in the Cerulean Gym. Xiaozhi, could he be? Misty's mind was full of thoughts. Chapter 35. Xiaozhi leaves the team, leaving A.J's simple arena, Xiaozhi. 3 people and 1 mouse headed towards Vermilion City. On the way, I was shrouded in fog and lost my sense of direction. So how long until we get out of this damn fog? Misty held on to her sore legs that were already walking. Have no idea. Xiaozhi shook his head, feeling a little embarrassed in his heart. The area covered by this fog is so large that it is almost connected to the clouds. Even if he released Pidgeotto and Butterfree, he wouldn't be able to distinguish the direction very well. To put it simply, the 3 of us have lost our way. Now we can only see if we can find any inhabited places nearby, ask for directions, or hire a guide. Xiaozhi concluded from the side. Xiaozhi nodded. At present, this is really the only way, unless they're willing to wait here for a few more days. Wait until this thick fog clears. But he didn't want to waste his precious time here. If I remember correctly, there seems to be a Pokemon Noble Academy nearby. You should be able to find someone asking for directions there. After telling Misty and Xiaozhi what they learned about the situation, Xiaozhi and his party began to explore. It didn't take long before I found the Pokemon Noble Academy through the towering clock tower that couldn't be completely shrouded in thick fog. The college door is closed at this time, and it should still be teaching time. Well, please ask, which way should I take to get to Vermilion City? The 3 of us got lost in the thick fog. There was a concierge in the security room next to the gate who looked quite old. Xiaozhi held Pikachu and walked up to ask for directions. What did you say? The old man raised his closed eyelids, glanced at Xiaozhi, and asked loudly. As he asked, he put his hand on his ear like a loudspeaker. Okay, sir, just rest. I'll go in and ask the others. You 3 should be the traveling trainers from outside, right? The concierge's ears are not very good, so don't be surprised. At this time, a gentle and intellectual voice sounded in several people's ears. Looking for fame, she is a beautiful woman wearing a teacher's uniform. As soon as Xiaozhi saw the beauty, he couldn't take his eyes away. He quickly came to the woman and half knelt on the ground. Holding the woman's hand, she squinted her eyes as wide as possible. Hello, beautiful lady. My name is Xiaozhi. He is a traveler who aims to become a top breeder. Dare you ask Miss your name? I think I have fallen in love with you. This familiar scene made Misty subconsciously want to step forward and grab Xiaozhi's ears to carry him back. Unexpectedly, the woman was not offended by Xiaozhi's sudden behavior. Instead, he covered his mouth and chuckled and replied gracefully, Mr. Xiaozhi, you are really, well, quite unique. My name is Ajay. Well, I'm the teacher of the Pokemon breeding course at the Academy. Would you like to sit in my office and make a cup of tea? My office is quite big. Perhaps the trainer who has not been outside for a long time, passed by and just wanted to chat with you and learn about the situation outside. The other party's refusal gave Xiaozhi a glimmer of hope. She was smiling brightly, and there was a blush on her slightly brown face. It's just not very obvious. Of course, we all like drinking tea. Misty, who was about to step forward to drag Xiaozhi back, stopped, stepped back to Xiaozhi, and curled her lips. Uncle, I'll take him to the office and sit there for a while. I'll send him down later. Seeing Xiaozhi, the two of them did not object clearly. Ajay brought several people to her office. During this period, Xiaozhi, who was very attentive to the offer, did not explicitly refuse, but accepted the offer. This made Xiaozhi lick more and more passionately. Misty covered her face and couldn't bear to look at him, looking like I didn't recognize him. The three of them acted together, but Xiaozhi also lost her face by doing this. Xiaozhi felt a thump in his heart. He secretly thought that Xiaozhi was about to fall into trouble again. Based on his past life experience, how could he not see that this Ajay was the Pokemon version of Queen of the Sea? Now Xiaozhi is just a fish just caught in her net. It's not like he never thought of reminding Xiaozhi. But since Xiaozhi embarked on the journey, he has also confessed his love to many beautiful older sisters. Each time I was rejected cleanly, and now there was finally one who was not clearly rejected. Still having to lick it hard? How could he listen to Jin's advice? On the contrary, Xiaozhi may be blamed for ruining his good deeds. We can only see if he can wake up later on his own. Xiaozhi, who has perfect housekeeping skills and a gentle personality, is certainly a warm man. But there's a saying that goes, a warm man ranks behind a dog. And there is no way out by being a dog licker. The mentality of most hi-ho is like that. The more you lick, the harder it gets. But Xiaozhi obviously belongs to the category that does not believe in evil. As long as there is no explicit refusal, I firmly believe that the back will become soft after licking it. But in the end, he could only let the bitterness of love spread on his face. Fortunately, Xiaozhi's heart is relatively strong, and he is also philanthropic enough. Every time I fall in love, I can always fall in love quickly. Don't worry too much. Judging from the current situation, Xiaozhi is very likely to leave the team. Forget it. Everyone has his or her own ambitions. I wish him good luck in finding a beautiful big sister who is willing to accept her as soon as possible. Xiaozhi thought absent-mindedly while drinking tea. After Ajay and Xiaozhi chatted for a while, they informed them of the direction to Vermilion City. Then he planned to send Xiaozhi and his party away. Unexpectedly, Xiaozhi, who thought he had met true love, cried and hugged her thigh. Please stay with her to communicate with breeders. It can be seen that Ajay was obviously taken aback. A casual catch made the fish willingly stay in her fish pond. I happily agreed. That sweet smile almost melted Xiaozhi's heart. The careless Misty's ability to identify B was almost zero, and she thought Xiaozhi had really found true love. I'm happy for Xiaozhi there. Misty finally sent this shameful guy away. I have to eat fast food again from now on, damn it. Bad, when will Xiaozhi learn to cook? Forget it. It's better to count on him as a kitchen killer than on yourself. Xiaozhi was sent away, and he didn't change his mind. In the original plot, Xiaozhi was such a person, and he had the experience of leaving the team twice. Chapter 36, Yudo, Sunday, Miracle Seed. Xiaozhi Misty, whose team was reduced by one person, did not ask Ajay and Xiaozhi to see her off, but walked downstairs by herself. Hey, where did you two country bumpkins come in from? You're not here to steal things from our academy, are you? The two were about to leave when they were stopped by a yellow-haired hedgehog on the playground. The hedgehog is wearing a school uniform and must be a student here. Beside him, there were several other teenagers in school uniforms, but they looked a bit unruly. I guess he plays a less glamorous role in school, such as the school bully. Have you ever seen any thief running openly? Misty suddenly became unhappy and shouted back. Who knows? What if there is such a stupid thief? That's unreasonable. Xiaozhi, let's go. Misty grabbed Xiaozhi's arm and wanted to walk out. Stop. You can't leave until the words are clearly spoken. The yellow-haired hedgehog did not move out of the way, but instead formed a human wall with several people around him. Of course, he knows that Xiaozhi and Misty are not thief. But boarding life in a closed school was boring, so he had to have some fun. It was a rare occasion for him to meet an outside trainer, and he couldn't let it go easily. Xiaozhi frowned and looked at the yellow-haired hedgehog in front of him with disgust. Gary has the same prickly head, but on the surface he is a power trip, but on the inside he is arrogant and kind-hearted. But this yellow hair is really disgusting. Unfortunately, apart from his family background, he didn't have any capital for his power trip. The second-generation ancestor of this academic school. After studying in the Noble Academy for a period of time, I thought I was invincible. Alliance's special consideration that they can participate in the region conference without obtaining a gym badge is regarded as recognition of their strength. Arrogant and arrogant, looking down on this and that all day long. In fact, he is just a little Karami. Not just him, almost the entire academy has not achieved good results in various region conferences. If I remember correctly, I didn't even make it past the quarterfinals. I really don't know what Power Trip is proud of. Not even as good as those insect-catching boys on the roadside. At any rate, people can occasionally give themselves trigger point tasks and get rewards. He, Xiaozhi, is not a good-tempered person either. Pikachu, prepare 100,000 volts. Misty, let's go. Let's see who among them can stop me. Xiaozhi took Misty's arm and strode outside, ignoring several people. Several people felt that their face was damaged and instinctively wanted to stop Xiaozhi, Misty, and the two. However, he was so frightened by the powerful electric currents on the electric bags on both sides of Pikachu's cheeks that he broke into a cold sweat. He didn't dare to make any move. This boy seemed different from the traveling trainer they had bullied before and who did not dare to resist due to their family background. He really dared to take action. Xiaozhi's eyes just now were so cold and domineering. With Xiaozhi's hand wrapped around her, Misty felt completely safe. He only gave a symbolic struggle without resisting and just let Xiaozhi do whatever he wanted. I couldn't help but have random thoughts in my mind. She was traveling this time for experience and did not bring the few powerful Pokemon left behind by her parents. She had conquered breeders' Pokemon by herself, and there weren't many of them. If Xiaozhi hadn't been by her side just now, she definitely wouldn't have been able to leave by herself. In the end, she could only rely on her identity as the fourth lady of the Cerulean Gym to get out of trouble. Although the Cerulean Gym is in decline, it is still a gym after all, and its identity lies there. Moreover, after his parents died, there were still a few second teams of Pokemon left behind to guard the Cerulean Gym. Only these sisters were able to grow up steadily without letting the Cerulean Gym's foundation be taken away by those monsters and monsters. Compared to the yellow-haired hedgehogs and the others, she, Misty, is the real second generation. It's just that she has always looked down on people who bully people based on their family background. Please wait a moment. At this time, a female voice sounded from behind. Stop Xiaozhi and Misty. Turning around, he saw a girl wearing a pleated skirt of a college uniform, revealing her slender legs. Dark burgundy hip-length hair, delicate fair face. A junior student badge is pinned to his chest. Astonishingly, it was the chief junior student of this noble Pokemon Academy, Yudo Sunday, also known as the Honorable One. What's up? Xiaozhi's eyes were a little cold. Your Pikachu is only suitable as Stephanie's pet, but the level is very high and he looks pretty strong. Are you interested in fighting me? Just let me see how powerful the traveling trainer is. With all due respect, I have encountered a few before, but unfortunately they are all rubbish. Yudo Sunday has a sweet appearance and elegant temperament, but her words are not very powerful. He looked down upon others. It is in line with Xiaozhi's stereotyped impression of aristocratic students. In fact, except for those generations who are accustomed to treating others with a gentle attitude in order to create their own approachable personality. Most of the second generation have this type of power trip personality. Misty, Xiaozhang, and even Dawn after Xiaozhi met are a breath of fresh air among the second generation. Xiaozhi was not interested in the opponent's power trip challenge, and there are no system tasks triggered. Shaking his head, he ignored the other person's words and walked towards the door with Misty. A trace of anger flashed across Yudo Sunday's delicate face. This was the first time someone dared to ignore her like this, and they immediately summoned Graveler and Cubone. I want to force Xiaozhi to stop them and have a Pokemon battle with her. Pikachu, the Golden Thunder felt like a divine punishment. Graveler and Cubone were instantly scorched black by electricity. There were even deep pits more than 10 meters wide in the ground of the entire playground. Electric hits ground, rock. Seconds? After knocking down the two Pokemon, Xiaozhi and the two left without stopping. Everyone was left stunned in place, as if they had been struck by a thunderbolt from the blue sky. Ding! Complete the hidden mission. Break Yudo Sunday's proud mask. Reward. The best Miracle Seed won when carrying a Grass-type Pokemon. The power of Grass-type skills increases by 50%. Normal Miracle Seed effect is 20%. Chapter 37. The Indigo Plateau Conference will make you regret it. Xiaozhi, who left the aristocratic school, receive an unexpected reward for completing a hidden mission. The best Miracle Seed won increases the power of Grass-type Pokemon's Grass-type skills by 50%. The normal Miracle Seed is only 20% effective and is also highly sought after by Grass-type Pokemon trainers. If Xiaozhi takes out this top-quality Miracle Seed, the value is probably no worse than the top-quality metal coat I got before. Of course, it is impossible to sell. Even Xiaozhi felt that just one Miracle Seed was not enough. In the future, Bulbasaur, Chikorita, and Sceptile will not be enough. It would be nice if such hidden tasks could be triggered more times. Why don't you go back and single out all the students in the Noble Academy? See if you can trigger one or two more hidden tasks. An idea popped up in Xiaozhi's mind, but he quickly killed it. Those little Lakins who didn't even deserve to be named in the original plot probably won't get much reward for defeating them. For example, the yellow-haired hedgehog who blocked the road at the beginning. In the Noble Academy Plaza, Yudo Sunday's pride and self-esteem were shattered by Pikachu's 100,000-volt strike that was like a divine punishment. Dragging my lead-like legs, I arrive at the deep pit left by Pikachu Thundershock. Graveler and Cubone saw circles in the pit. Their bodies were charred, and they had lost their ability to fight. His lips twitched, and after a while, he put his two Pokemon back into the baby ball with a heavy heart. Is this the true strength of Travel Trainer? The so-called attribute restraint is like a joke in the face of the opponent's absolute level suppression. And the other person seemed to be just a trainer who had just started traveling. Pikachu Trainer Viring Ahat? Yudo Sunday will remember you. See you at the Indigo Plateau Conference. Yudo Sendai raised his face and wiped away the 2 tears on Kingley's face. Chief Sunday, don't be discouraged. I don't think he is anything special. That Pikachu might have been lent to him by his master breeder for traveling. The yellow-haired hedgehog came back to his senses from the shock of Pikachu, instantly killing Graveler and Cubone. With a flattering expression, he stepped forward to comfort Yudo Sunday while belittling Xiaozhi. Yudo Sunday is the chief student of the lower grade, and his family background is much better than his. If this had anything to do with her, wouldn't she be walking sideways in school from now on? Not only the junior students, but also the senior students he dared to provoke. Before he finished speaking, Yudo Sendai looked at him coldly with his eyes. Why didn't you say this to him just now? This. The yellow-haired hedgehog hesitated. Yudo Sunday snorted coldly and glanced at him contemptuously. You bully the weak and fear the strong. If you had been so stubborn just now, I would still think highly of you. After saying that, she stepped forward with her fair and slender legs and walked towards the academic affairs office. Sunday, are you going to graduate early and go on a trip? Are you kidding me? The teacher from the academic affairs office looked very surprised when he looked at the beautiful girl in front of him. This is the chief student of the junior grade. Why is he leaving immediately? Teacher, I have thought clearly. The courses in the college are no longer suitable for me. Various emergencies during the trip can help me laser focus better and achieve good results at the Indigo Plateau Conference. Yudo Sunday gave his own explanation. Okay, I'll handle the formalities for you. I hope you have a smooth trip and successfully attend the Indigo Plateau Conference. Seeing Yudo Sunday insisting, teacher didn't say anything more, and his grandfather was the director of the school. After all, dropping out of school is just a family matter for them. For a stinky part-timer, if he can ask questions a few times, he is already conscientious enough. What's the deal? After completing the graduation procedures, Yudo Sunday couldn't wait to embark on a journey with the 2 Pokemon he had restored to health. She must defeat that hat-wearing Pikachu trainer at the Indigo Plateau Conference. Let the other person hold her thigh, regretting the insult to her today. Then he cried bitterly and asked to be her valet to atone for his sins. She saw that the other party was talented and sincere enough. Reluctantly, he raised his hand and agreed. Then he was forced to put down his pride as a genius and pinch her legs, beat her back, and wash her feet with a humiliating look on his face. This is the price for ignoring my Yudo Sunday. The reward for the previous mission has been changed, retaining the top-quality miracle seed and removing the second reward. Xiaozhi, I'm so hungry. Is there anything to eat? On the other side, follow the direction Ajay pointed. Xiaozhi and the 2 have walked out of the foggy area. At this time, Misty was so hungry that her chest pressed against her back, and she weakly said to Xiaozhi, "Now, there are 2 more biscuits here for you to eat." Xiaozhi threw away 2 compressed biscuits. Before the 2 of them arrived in Nibi City, they were tired of eating compressed biscuits. Now Misty could smell the smell of compressed biscuits, and there was some pantothenic acid in her stomach, so she waved her hands repeatedly. No, I want to eat your freshly cooked meal, Xiaozhi." Xiaozhi rolled his eyes at her and raised his hand. Do you want to eat a fist the size of a sandbag? You've already suffered a loss once. Don't you have some confidence in his cooking skills? Xiaozhi, who was tired of eating fast food and dry food in Viridian Forest, once cooked a pot of mushroom soup. Because they didn't recognize a poisonous mushroom, they almost sent it away without giving it to them. Misty, who knew Xiaozhi's terrifying strength, shook her head like a wave, like a frustrated little daughter-in-law. Forget it, let me do it. At least I won't kill anyone. I'll have to buy a few cookbooks and learn from them when I get to the next town. Xiaozhi nodded, hoping that next time the system would reward a breeder Pokemon or cooking skills. I'm sorry, but from now on when he reads a book, he will never complain about how he rewards the protagonist with cooking skills to seduce girls every time. Chapter 38. Triggering the Bulbasaur mission, I just obtained a top-quality miracle seed by completing a hidden task in the system. It will be a bit of a waste if you don't use it. If I remember correctly, in the original plot, I was after leaving the Pokemon Noble Academy. Just because Misty wanted to conquer an Oddish, she was misunderstood by Bulbasaur. The group did not get to know each other without fighting and finally conquered Bulbasaur by chance. But the plot is a plot and cannot completely correspond to the real world. Xiaozhi did not want to rely on luck to meet and conquer Bulbasaur. Along the way, he was gathering information from the wild Pokemon trainers he encountered. Finally, he got the information he wanted from a senior trainer. Walk about 10 kilometers southwest, and you will encounter a small village. In this village, there are a large number of Pokemon abandoned by humans. There is also a Stephanie named Melanie living here, providing help and some necessary medical treatment to these Pokemon abandoned by humans. And the Bulbasaur Xiaozhi is looking for is the patron saint of this village, instinctively hostile to all external trainers. After the senior trainer arrived in the village, he saw that Bulbasaur's combat level was not low. I wanted to capture Bulbasaur and travel with him, but it was ultimately defeated by Bulbasaur's Vine Whip. When I told Xiaozhi about it, I still looked regretful. After learning the exact news, Xiaozhi thanked the other party, then took Misty and rushed in the direction pointed by the other party. Xiaozhi, do you want to conquer the Bulbasaur that the big brother just said? Although that Bulbasaur will definitely not be the rival of Pikachu now. But I heard that big brother said it hates humans trainer. It will be very difficult if you don't obey then. If it is released again, it will cause another round of damage to Bulbasaur. On the way, Misty expressed her concerns. Xiaozhi nodded. Misty, your worries are actually reasonable, but I want to give it a try. Xiaozhi now has a primary affinity aura, as long as it is a wild Pokemon without a trainer. Naturally, the favorability towards him will increase by 10%. And since he has the power of Mega Waveguide, he is actually more easily recognized by Pokemon than a normal human trainer. Just being able to understand what Pokemon are saying is beyond what a normal person can do. A two-pronged approach may be able to change Bulbasaur's prejudice against normal human trainers and successfully join the team. If that doesn't work, you can only refer to the method of conquering Bulbasaur in the original plot. Wait for the big villain Team Rocket to come out and make their presence felt, and then drive Team Rocket away. Bulbasaur's bad stereotype of human trainers has been changed. However, Xiaozhi still hopes not to use this method as much as possible. One is to know in advance, then let the Rockets do whatever they want and only drive them away after achieving their goals. Seems a bit bitchy. Secondly, Team Rocket is not a fixed NPC, although I have always had the dream of catching my own Pikachu. But it's not like they can appear whenever you want them to. Waiting for them to come out and do evil is extremely uncertain. After thinking for a moment, Xiaozhi directly eliminated the backup plan of waiting for the Rockets. He also has a killer weapon, Miracle Seed, which has a fatal Captivate effect on Grass-type Pokemon. His top-quality Miracle Seed is even more like Wang Jia. With the three-pronged approach, I can't believe that Bulbasaur is not tempted. If even this can impress Bulbasaur, then I can only regretfully announce that I and Bulbasaur are not destined to be together. You can't just ignore the other party's wishes and forcefully subdue it, right? After time travel and rebirth, what I want to do is make up for my regrets, not create new ones. After sorting out his thoughts, Xiaozhi took Misty to a village where many Pokemon abandoned by trainers lived. I met Stephanie Melanie, who has been silently providing help and treatment to these Pokemon here. He told her his purpose. Huh, Xiaozhi, you mean you want to conquer that kid Bulbasaur? Melanie seemed a little surprised when Xiaozhi came to her directly to express his intention. It's true that trainer has wanted to conquer Bulbasaur before, but no one has ever sought her advice. He always challenges Bulbasaur on his own. It's just that they couldn't defeat Bulbasaur and successfully conquered it. He was the only one like Xiaozhi who asked her for permission. The first experience left Melanie a little stunned and at a loss. That kid from Bulbasaur is very talented and has a big stage. He shouldn't stay in this small village all the time. Actually, I've always wanted a trainer to take that kid Bulbasaur out, but it has never let go of its prejudice against human trainers. I'll take you to find that child. If you can convince it, then Bulbasaur will be in your hand from now on. Thank you very much, Miss Melanie. Melanie, whom Bulbasaur trusted, introduced the two parties to each other to avoid the initial misunderstanding. Then the probability of him successfully conquering Bulbasaur is even higher. Ding! Trigger system mission, Bulbasaur's return. Please use methods other than combat to obtain Bulbasaur's recognition and be voluntarily conquered. Mission completion reward. Magical speed potion. Pokemon can permanently increase its speed by 10% after use. At this time, the system also triggered the task in a timely manner. However, the requirements for completion are also slightly demanding. After all, it's normal to want a Pokemon to join your team. At least defeat it and let it see your strength. If you can't use the fighting method, it will be a little more difficult. On the way to find Bulbasaur with Melanie, Xiaozhi took over the task smoothly, thinking secretly in his heart. Chapter 39. A small opening does not count. Conquer Bulbasaur Seed. Not long after, Xiaozhi and the two found Bulbasaur under the leadership of Melanie. Because there is Melanie, an acquaintance. Bulbasaur's attitude is not as bad as when facing other human trainers, but it is also relatively cold. I'm going to make you laugh. This kid Bulbasaur has a good heart, but he's not very approachable. Xiaozhi, Misty, please wait here for a while I talk to Bulbasaur for a while. Melanie said to Xiaozhi and Misty in a gentle manner, and then pulled Bulbasaur not far away without knowing what to say. Xiaozhi were waiting silently. Seed. When he came back again, the hostility in Bulbasaur's eyes was much less. There is more exploration and scrutiny in his eyes. It learned from Melanie that no one under its protection actually wanted its talents to be wasted in this small place. Thinking about it being able to go out and get on the stage to show itself, this quietly changed his mind. Maybe it's time to find a trainer to take you out. There was something relatable about the young man in front of him. The Pikachu on his shoulder also has a very close relationship with him, and it's obvious that he loves Pokemon. Seems like a good choice. But these alone are not enough. If you want to conquer it, you must defeat it head-on. She would not choose to follow a trainer who is weaker than herself. Xiaozhi, this kid Bulbasaur has agreed to travel with you, but only if you can defeat him and prove your strength. At this time, Melanie stepped forward and said to Xiaozhi, "Thank you so much, Miss Melanie." Xiaozhi quickly thanked Melanie. At this point, Bulbasaur's entry into the team is already a certainty. The difference is the method. If possible, Xiaozhi still hopes to avoid fighting. Directly let Bulbasaur recognize him and be conquered by him. In this way, you could get the magical speed potion as a reward from a mission. After use, it can increase the speed of Pokemon by 10%. For most Pokemon, the improvement is significant. Xiaozhi is quite greedy for this reward. Thinking of this, Xiaozhi decided to try it first. Pretending to be from the backpack, it is actually in the system space. He took out the top-grade Miracle Seed that was awarded for completing the hidden mission of defeating Yudo Sunday. Squatting down, his eyes were level with Bulbasaur's. Then the best Miracle Seed was displayed in front of Bulbasaur. "Bulbasaur, look at this. As long as you enter my baby ball, how about I give this to you?" Misty, who had been following Xiaozhi, couldn't help but take a step back. Why does it feel like Xiaozhi now is a bit like those weird uncles who abducted her with a lollipop when she was out shopping when she was a child, only to be sent to jail by Officer Jenny who was passing by? Excellent Miracle Seed Captivatability is indeed extraordinary for Grass-type Pokemon. After seeing the Miracle Seed in Xiaozhi's hand, Bulbasaur couldn't take his eyes away. The saliva barely came out of his mouth. Subconsciously, I wanted to nod in agreement, but I still relied on my own will to overcome it. Endure the captivate of the best Miracle Seed and turn your head away. If you don't defeat me today, you won't be able to conquer me. When Xiaozhi's plan fails, he tries another one. The main thing is a don't miss mission reward. Who knows if I miss this time, there will be another chance to get the magical speed potion. Xiaozhi put his hand on his waist and took out the treasure ball belonging to Flash Gyarados. With a light press on the button, the finger-sized baby ball suddenly becomes something that can only be covered with one hand. Immediately, a mighty and domineering figure appeared in front of everyone. The huge body stood upright, easily exceeding the height of trees. Flash Gyarados understood the hint of tactical intimidation. He lowered his body and faced Bulbasaur with a ferocious face that was much larger than a normal human body. "Little brother, do you want to fight with me?" Even if it doesn't intimidate ability, its huge size and ferocious face have the effect. It's not inferior to normal Gyarados, and is even better. Bulbasaur realized that his entire frog might not be as big as one of his opponent's fangs, so he couldn't help but take 2 steps back. Look at Xiaozhi, who is holding a Pokeball in one hand and a Miracle Seed in the other. It struggled to overcome Miracle Seed's covet and wanted to fight Xiaozhi. Isn't it just to explore Xiaozhi's strength and see if he is qualified to conquer him? Being able to cultivate the Flash Gyarados in front of me, how bad could it be? I checked with my eyes. It's the trainer I'm looking for. With a slight jump, he hit the Pokeball in Xiaozhi's hand. Then it turned into a red light and was absorbed by the Pokeball. The Pokeball shook once or twice in Xiaozhi's hand and then became quiet. Ding! The mission is completed and you get the reward. The magical speed potion. After receiving the familiar system prompt, Xiaozhi also had a smile on his face. It works. A small opening does not count as an opening. Even scaring Bulbasaur doesn't count as fighting him. After all, Xiaozhi didn't do anything. He just released Flash Gyarados in advance to say hello to his future companions. Xiaozhi, congratulations on successfully subduing the kid Bulbasaur. Please also take good care of it in the future. If you have time, you can let it come back here to have a look. Me and everyone else will be waiting for it. Seeing that Xiaozhi successfully subdued Bulbasaur, Melanie looked at Flash Gyarados, which was taller than the trees, with some fear. Overcoming the instinctive fear in his heart, he stepped forward and said to Xiaozhi, "Yeah, I will, Miss Melanie. Bulbasaur's name will definitely shine in the Indigo Plateau Conference. This is my promise." Chapter 40. Reasons for Reluctance to Evolve. Chlorophyll. Xiaozhi, congratulations. At this time, Misty also stepped forward to congratulate Xiaozhi. can be officially selected by Alliance as a Pokemon to be issued to rookie trainer. Xiaozhi is stronger than most Pokemon that trainer can capture in the wild, and is also very rare. They're basically monopolized by Alliance officials. Xiaozhi was very lucky to be able to harvest such a talented Bulbasaur. This can be used as the main Grass-type Pokemon breeder. Pokemon, Bulbasaur level, LV30 ability, Chlorophyll potential, elite level skills, Vine Whip, Razor Leaf, Seed Bomb, etc. Intimacy, 200, full value 255, what to carry? The best Miracle Seed. After conquering Bulbasaur, Xiaozhi immediately released it again. I don't know how long it will take before I leave this time and come back again. Xiaozhi asked him to say goodbye to Melanie and the abandoned Pokemon he protected. Just click on Bulbasaur's information. As expected, the level is very high and has already crossed the threshold of elite level. Speaking of which, if we really fought Flash Gyarados just now, it's not necessarily clear who would win. Flash Gyarados just looks very scary, and his current level is not as high as Bulbasaur's, mainly because there haven't been any better places for them to level up recently. In addition to receiving the winning streak mission, Pikachu's level has been greatly improved. Like Butterfree, Flash Gyarados Pidgeotto has basically not been upgraded from Cerulean City to here. Bulbasaur can reach such a high level partly due to its elite level potential. On the other hand, he has been protecting other abandoned Pokemon in Pokemon Land for a long time. There are frequent battles with foreign wild Pokemon and trainers. Accumulated enough combat experience. But it can be seen that Bulbasaur really doesn't like evolution. Given its level, it should normally evolve into Ivysaur. Even with a few more upgrades, it can evolve into its ultimate form, Venusaur. If you think about it carefully, in the original plot, Bulbasaur has already begun to evolve due to certain influences in the mysterious garden. But it was abruptly terminated, not wanting to evolve except for Bulbasaur's personal wishes. It is also closely related to its ability and fighting style. Bulbasaur's ability is a hidden ability, Chlorophyll. In the presence of sunlight, the speed will be doubled. This ability makes Bulbasaur very flexible in combat and suitable for fast attack style. Once it evolves into its final form, Venusaur, its bulky body will lock its positioning on the turret. The little speed increase in Chlorophyll ability doesn't help at all. It is equivalent to wasting an ability in vain. After thinking clearly about the joints, Xiaozhi decided to respect his idea. If there's a chance in the future, he will even have to find an immutable stone for Bulbasaur to carry. Prevent it from evolving accidentally. With the best Miracle Seed, Bulbasaur's damage can still keep up even without evolving. What Xiaozhi couldn't figure out was such an outstanding Pokemon as Bulbasaur. There are actually trainers who choose to abandon them. How arrogant is this? Maybe it's because Bulbasaur doesn't want to evolve? It just gives him an advantage. Speaking of which, in the original plot, he conquered 3 royal families in the Kanto region: Bulbasaur, Squirtle, and Charmander. They're all picked up by others who don't want them. 2 SR and 1 SSR were drawn from the waste card deck. Otherwise, how can we say that he is the protagonist of Destiny? It's really wonderful. Bulbasaur bid farewell to Melanie and other friends in Pokemon Land and embarked on the journey with Xiaozhi. I feel that in addition to Pikachu, who is at the peak of the LV49 gym and is only 1 level away from being promoted to a quasi-elite, the other Pokemon's levels are too low. The highest Pidgeotto, Bulbasaur, is only LV30. The lower Flash Gyarados is only LV25. As for Butterfree, who was the first to conquer, it was the lowest, LV19, almost a fault formed. The uneven development of the team is not what Xiaozhi wants. Although it has always been Breeder Pikachu, there is a chance that it can suppress the 1-on-6 at the Indigo Plateau Conference at an absolute level and kill the entire audience. But this is not a separate stage for Xiaozhi and Pikachu. Now that you have conquered other Pokemon, you must be responsible for them and help them grow, and gain the honor and victory you deserve. Moreover, Pikachu is already LV49, and each level up is very difficult. This requires too much combat experience. Unless you challenge those high-level trainers, or take drugs and eat rare candy directly. Just fighting in the wild, I don't know how long it will take to reach another level. It's also time to level up other Pokemon. Otherwise, you'll have a bunch of Pokemon with quasi-elite potential at the beginning. In the end, their levels were kept spinning between ordinary and elite. This is a big dereliction of duty on his part as a trainer. Leaving Pokemon Dreamland, Xiaozhi took Pidgeotto, Flash Gyarados, and Bulbasaur around to find wild Pokemon and trainer to level up, while inquiring about the Squirtle Legion. The boss of the Squirtle Legion is the one who was subdued by him in the original plot. It can become the second water-type main pet in the team after Flash Gyarados. And you can also help Misty tame one. Speaking of which, he hasn't given Misty any decent present yet. Those gadgets bought in Nibby City don't count. People have taken out all the secrets of the family heirloom Gyarados breeder. Xiaozhi has tried it these days, and the effect is very good. He had to give something back. You can't be so shameless as to spend all your money to teach, or preach and teach, right? Regardless of whether it is set with diamonds or not, it is worth a family heirloom. It is indeed too much punishment to think like this. Chapter 41. Crazy level increase. Use speed potion Butterfree, sleep powder. Pidgeotto gust blow past. Bulbasaur, take a chance on Razor Leaf or Vine Whip. Gyarados, give him the final blow waterfall. On a mound about 100 meters high, Xiaozhi commanded several Pokemon in his team to launch a battle against the Diglett tribe living here. 2.5 minutes later, the entire Diglett tribe turned into circles, lost the ability to fight, and fell to the ground. Even if one or two clever digs try to escape in time. But they were all forced out by Flash Gyarados using his brine skill. The family must be neat and tidy. Xiaozhi, the super potions we replenished in the last town are about to be used up again. We need to be more careful next time and don't fight against such a large group again. After the battle, Misty helped arrange the Diglets neatly and applied medicine to them. He said to Xiaozhi with a resentful expression, "In order to level up these days, Xiaozhi has been working almost day and night, replenishing Super Potion one after another. And he barely got a good rest, even with her in tow. The fatigue, coupled with the plummeting food supply after Xiaozhi left the team, gave her 2 big dark circles on her face. Xiaozhi felt a little embarrassed looking at Misty's visible haggard appearance. Well, Misty, I understand. Recently, I've been thinking that the strength gap between Gyarados and Pikachu is a bit big, so I want to accumulate more combat experience. Let's see. I look at the map, and there's a town a little further on. Let's go there to replenish supplies and rest for a day or two." Xiaozhi suggested. I have long wanted to take a rest, but Xiaozhi never mentioned it, and Misty, who couldn't bear to say anything, nodded like a fool. After giving Diglett and Dugtrio good medicine, they moved to a safe place. The two continued to set off, preparing to head to the next town to take a rest. Pokemon, Pidgeotto level, LV30, LV34. Pokemon, Flash Gyarados level, LV25, LV33. Pokemon, Bulbasaur level, LV30, LV32. Pokemon, Butterfree level, LV19, LV29. Leveling up day and night has good results. Pidgeotto's level has increased by 4 levels, and he is only about 2 levels away from evolving into Pidgeotto. To be honest, Xiaozhi was still looking forward to it evolving into something like Queen Beediao. Don't eat the exclusive Jinkly feed in vain. Flash Gyarados was fed by Xiaozhi and ate the remaining 3 elementary rare candy when he leveled up to LV27. He was directly promoted to LV30 and entered the elite level. Then he continued to accumulate combat experience and was promoted to 3 levels again. Butterfree gained a lot of experience because of its field control with various scale powder skills. In addition, its level was the lowest, and it was upgraded to 10 levels in one breath. When you reach LV29, you only need to upgrade to 1 level to reach the elite level. It's a pity that there is no primary rare candy. Otherwise, Xiaozhi would just feed it one and wouldn't have to worry about it. As for Bulbasaur, it only increased by 2 levels. Among the pets, it is the smallest improvement. The main reason is that it doesn't have much interest in fighting weak wild Pokemon. Instead, I am more willing to challenge the trainers and more powerful wild Pokemon encountered on the roadside. As a result, the speed of level improvement is slower than that of other pets. But this is its character, and it treats weak Pokemon with kindness. In the future, he will also serve as a Pokemon regulating ambassador in the backyard of Professor Oak Laboratory. Different Pokemon have different personalities and cannot be generalized. Even if Bulbasaur does this, it will level up a little slower. Xiaozhi didn't try to correct it. Only when playing against other trainers, Bulbasaur appears more frequently. It is worth mentioning that since Bulbasaur's ability is chlorophyll, under sunlight, the speed can be doubled. Coupled with Bulbasaur's unwillingness to evolve, the base speed attribute has a great impact on Bulbasaur's strength. Moreover, the magical speed potion is also obtained as a reward from the task of conquering Bulbasaur. Xiaozhi thought twice and gave Bulbasaur the magical speed potion to use. Increased its speed by 10%. This makes Bulbasaur's fast break tactics even more powerful. As for Pidgeotto and Pikachu, which are also very suitable for magical speed potions, Xiaozhi could only say sorry in his heart and look forward to getting more magical speed potion rewards in future missions. Pidgeotto evolved than the eagle, flying at a speed even exceeding Mach 2. If it is improved again on this basis, it will be tantamount to taking its advantages to the extreme. The effect is quite horrific. Pikachu's other ability, Static Electricity, has a 30% chance of putting the opponent into a paralysis contest condition when using contact moves. Plus, it has Agility, or Bird Tail, Quick Attack, and other skills. In addition to the terrifyingly powerful electrical skills, Pikachu is also very suitable for close combat and fast attack tactics. This is also one of Pikachu's flashpoints. If you can also use a magical speed potion on Pikachu, the improvement will be considerable. Unfortunately, there's only one bottle of magical speed potion, so we can only wait and see if there's a chance. During a lunch break on the way to the next town, Misty's backpack was suddenly stolen. There's still a grimace on the ground like a turtle sticking out its tongue. This made Misty very angry. Xiaozhi looked at the grimace on the ground and smiled. It's really hard to find anything without wearing iron shoes, and it takes no effort at all. Chapter 42, Boss Squirtle, Director Xi. He was also planning to inquire about the Squirtle Legion in the next town. I didn't expect it to be delivered to my door. Misty, the plan has changed. I won't go to town to rest. I'm not going. I also plan to take a nice bath there. Misty put on a kitten face. Go catch the thief who stole your bag. Forget it. There's nothing in it. I just want to take a good bath now. Caught by Squirtle. Where is it? Let's go. Misty, who was half dead and had a hold on Xiaozhi's shoulders to walk, was immediately resurrected with full health. She is a beautiful girl who aspires to become the world's best water-type Pokemon master. How could you not like a water-type like Squirtle? Speaking of which, she didn't rely on family resources. She just conquered it by herself. So far, I have only bred one Goldeen in Starmie. Although the potential is pretty good, in the end it's just a bad Pokemon. It is far worse than water-type Eusangia like Squirtle. It is a rare opportunity to tame a Squirtle that is rarely seen in the wild. Not to mention going to town later, it doesn't matter to her if she sleeps in the open air for a few more days. Bulbasaur come out. Xiaozhi released Bulbasaur with his backhand. Seed, Bulbasaur, can you please find the Pokemon that was here just now? Xiaozhi pointed to the mischievous face on the ground and said please to Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur nodded affirmatively, then leaned over and sniffed near the mischievous face. After identifying the other party's scent, they immediately started tracking. As a Pokemon that can be found in the wild to feed on nectar. Although Bulbasaur is not a dog, his nose is very sensitive, able to detect scents that are difficult for normal Pokemon to detect. At this time, it was following a faint scent, leading Xiaozhi Misty in a certain direction. On the other side, a Squirtle wearing round sunglasses was dragging the backpack he stole from Misty in an imposing manner. Return to their Squirtle Legion lair and claim credit from the Boss Squirtle. Jenny. After some chattering, Boss Squirtle, wearing special sunglasses, stepped forward. He patted it on the shoulder to express his approval of the tongue-sticking face it left behind. Well, it was indeed Squirtle and you who stole my bag. At this time, Xiaozhi Misty and two others led by Bulbasaur, also chased here. He looked at his backpack, which had been dragged to pieces on the ground and could no longer be carried. Misty was very annoyed. "Since you broke my bag, please use your body to pay for it." Squirtle, the round sunglasses that stole the bag, I won. Misty could tell at a glance that apart from the boss, the Squirtle, the round sunglasses that had been stolen from her bag, had a healthier color. The potential must be pretty good too. He immediately released Starmie, who could maintain a certain level of combat effectiveness on the ground. As for the other Goldeen, just don't mention it. Without water, it is almost like Magikarp and of no use. Ding! Trigger the system mission. Squirtle joins the team and conquers the Squirtle Legion boss. Task completion reward. Immutable Stone, the best charcoal. After carrying it, Fire-type skill power is increased by 50%, and the normal quality charcoal effect is 20%. When Misty launched a conquering battle against Squirtle, Xiaozhi also received a system task in a timely manner. The mission requirement is very simple. Just conquer the Squirtle you originally conquered. There are no other additional requirements, like conquering Bulbasaur. Mission rewards are basically free. One piece of immutable stone, just right for Bulbasaur, who doesn't like evolution. Speaking of which, Pikachu is not willing to evolve. It would be bad if he accidentally encounters the Thunderstone one day. I have to find an immutable stone someday and arrange it for Pikachu. As for the top charcoal, it is similar to the Miracle Seed obtained before, except that it enhances the power of fire-type skills. Just right for future sprayers. The old flamethrower is extremely good at playing it. If you equip it with the best charcoal, it won't be so cool. While Xiaozhi was thinking, the battle to conquer Misty was over. He has been educated at the gym leader level since he was a child, and Starmie's level is not low. Defeating a Squirtle boy is relatively easy. At this time, the little Squirtle who stole Misty's backpack was officially put into the Pokemon Ball by Misty. Use your body to repay the debt it owes. Jenny. The boss of Squirtle fired a water gun spit up, and it spewed on the ground in front of Xiaozhi. He had taken off his sunglasses, and there was a hint of taunt in his eyes. Through the power of the Waveguide, Xiaozhi easily understood its meaning. It wants to have a battle with Xiaozhi. If it wins, Misty will have to release the subdued Squirtle brother. If it loses, it will be Xiaozhi's Pokemon. It can be seen that Squirtle is still very loyal. For the sake of my little brother, I am willing to bet on myself. Xiaozhi nodded. Squirtle, I know that you were all abandoned by the human trainer, and then you formed the Squirtle Legion to do mischief everywhere. But what I want you to know is that there are not only scum like them among human trainers. There are also many people who love Pokemon. Misty is one of them. Follow her, and your little brother can grow better. If you want to make a bet with me, add another bet. If you lose, nothing else but becomes my Pokemon. The other 3 Squirtless also have to listen to my arrangements. I will find them a job that provides food and shelter and is respected by others. That's right, Xiaozhi plans to pack up the remaining 3 Squirtless and send them back to Pallet Town to serve as the fire brigade in Pallet Town. Don't let the rich water go to other people's fields. It is better to make money for other towns than to make money for yourself. Please call him Mr. Xiaoqi, director of our office, Mr. Xi. Director Xi, do you think our rolling pin has been upgraded to a police baton? Chapter 43. Professor Oak. My grandson Gary is really awesome. Jenny, Squirtle thought for a moment and agreed without hesitation. It is the strongest among the Squirtle Legion. If it can't beat Xiaozhi, then there's nothing to say. Xiaozhi can take away the other 3 Squirtless by force. Whether you agree or not is the same thing. The key depends on whether it can beat it. Squirtle is confident about this. You can form an army of Squirtless to roam the area. It naturally has several brushes. Many trainers have launched a conquering battle against it before, but were easily defeated by it. I believe this time will be no exception. Bulbasaur? Yes, I thought so before. Pokemon, Squirtle, level, LV29. Before launching the recapture battle, Xiaozhi checked Squirtle's level as usual. I found it to be quite good, just 1 level lower than the previous Bulbasaur. It's just that it should have reached the level where it can evolve, but it hasn't evolved yet. Xiaozhi guessed that it didn't evolve into Wartortle in order to maintain the name of the Squirtle Legion. Otherwise, if the boss of the Squirtle Legion is a war turtle, can we still call it the Squirtle Legion? The name is not justified, and it belongs to Yes. Squirtle in the original plot also showed no intention of resisting evolution. Later, he didn't evolve after joining Xiaozhi's team. Maybe he saw that Pikachu and Bulbasaur didn't evolve, so he chose not to evolve either. However, in the future, if Squirtle does not clearly show that it does not want to evolve, Xiaozhi's attitude toward it will be to evolve if it can. Unlike Bulbasaur, which relies on speed to engage in fast break tactics, once the speed drops significantly after evolution, the chlorophyll ability effect will be wasted. The most eye-catching thing about Squirtle is its water-type trick. From now on, he will shine by learning the water-type ultimate Move Hydro Pump in advance. Evolve into Blastoise as soon as possible, as a turret-type Pokemon best suits its characteristics. How does a turtle imitate other people's quick attacks? Although Squirtle Skull Bash does have some dazzling effects on many occasions, there may be another very important reason why Squirtle does not evolve in the original plot. That is, Xiaozhi is not good at commanding turret-type Pokemon. The most accustomed tactic is the fast break strategy that I am familiar with when commanding Pikachu. Maybe Squirtle is considering that after evolving into Blastoise, his adaptability to Xiaozhi's commanding habits has declined, and it is easy to be benched. Considering various reasons, evolution was not chosen. But now he is different. He is open to all rivers. Take the essence and discard the dregs. Whether it's fast attack flow, turret flow, extreme flow, weather team, etc. Xiaozhi believes that he can play it well. Nature is better to evolve if it can. Except for a few cases, the evolved form is obviously stronger than the pre-evolved form. It's not like he has a special hobby for the form of Earl Dervish from the Royal Sanja. He suppressed his thoughts and looked at the eager Squirtle in front of him. Xiaozhi sent out Bulbasaur, the newest member of the team. They are both members of the Royal 3 family. They draw water from grass, suppress levels, and are commanded by trainer. Squirtle didn't survive a few moves before he was hit by Bulbasaur's Vine Whip and ran away. He was also very trustworthy and got into the Baby Ball, becoming the second Usangia Pokemon that Xiaozhi conquered. At this point, all 6 carrying slots on Xiaozhi's body are full. They're LV-49 Pikachu, LV-34 Pidgeotto, LV-33 Flash Gyarados, LV-32 Bulbasaur, LV-29 Squirtle, and LV-29 Butterfree. If he were to capture another one, he would have to teleport to Professor Oak's laboratory, which is bound to his personal Pokédex, unless more carrying slots are open for him. Normally, as a rookie trainer starting out this year, this would be impossible, unless you have made a huge contribution to Alliance, or simply hope that the system will release tasks when and reward extra carrying slots. Xiaozhi, great. You have subdued Squirtle too. After seeing Xiaozhi subduing the Squirtle boss, Misty jumped 3 feet high. He happily jumped on Xiaozhi's back, with a slightly less obvious blush on his face. This is what Xiaozhi took her to conquer. Speaking of which, this should be regarded as the first formal present given to her by Xiaozhi. Right? I don't know what she thought of, but the expression on Misty's face became a little silly. He looks very different from usual, a bit coquettish. Hey Misty, get off me now, you haven't showered in a few days. Nonsense. I obviously wipe my body every day and it doesn't smell bad at all. Don't you believe me? As she spoke, Misty wrinkled her nose and lowered her head to smell it. Although he had sweated a lot, he looked a little embarrassed. But it really doesn't stink, and it has a slight fragrance, Jenny. The remaining 3 Squirtless saw that the boss and the other companion were subdued, and they hugged each other nervously. There was also a hint of fear in his eyes. The polarity of the power trip is reversed for the previous times when the Squirtle core went out to cause mischief. Xiaozhi put Misty off his back and stepped forward under the frightened eyes of the 3 Squirtless. There was a friendly smile on his face. Don't be afraid. I promised your old conference to find you a good job. Take a deep breath. Dizziness is normal. When you get there will be an old man in a white coat who will take care of you for a while. As for your work, wait until I get to Vermilion City Pokemon Center and call to make arrangements. Xiaozhi said, taking out 3 blank Pokeballs and hitting the Squirtles' heads one by one. Then the Pokeballs were teleported away one after another, and sent to Professor Oak. It's strange, Gary has caught more than 40 Pokemon. Even though that guy Xiaozhi is striving for perfection, he still hasn't collected 6 Pokemon yet, right? This is too inferior. My grandson is still awesome. Laboratory, Professor Oak is cooking instant noodles. At the same time, I thought of the 4 trainers from Palatown this year. Chapter 44. 3 Squirtless. Xiaozhi is traveling with Yangshuo. This year Palatown has 4 rookie trainers, which is a record number for this small town with a small population. Among them, his grandson Gary has now harvested 4 badges and captured more than 40 Pokemon. Except for a few philatelic properties, the rest are pretty good. The remaining 2 trainers also performed well and received 3 badges. In addition to catching all 6 Pokemon in the carrying slots, he also teleported 10 of them back. The entire laboratory backyard was a little livelier than before. On the other hand, there hasn't been much movement from Xiaozhi. The last time he called, he seemed to have just arrived in Cerulean City, right? And no Pokemon has ever teleported over. Maybe I haven't even caught 6 Pokemon now. Is this guy Xiaozhi so demanding? Don't even catch the 6 Pokemon needed to participate in the Indigo Plateau Conference. The Indigo Plateau Conference has a tight schedule, plus there's a need to rotate Pokemon for rival. At least you need to prepare more than 10 Pokemon that are online at a high level. Professor Oak thought silently in his heart. Suddenly, Cal came from the communication device. Hey, someone else's Pokemon has been passed on? Is it Gary's? I wonder what is coming this time. I hope it's a type I haven't served before. Professor Oak ignored the instant noodles being cooked by the alcohol lamp and walked quickly towards the communication equipment on the side. Oh, it's Xiaozhi. Not bad, not bad. Just as he said, he didn't even have 6 Pokemon. 3 Pokemon balls came out in one breath. Don't know what it will be. Wait, isn't it some kind of gregarious Diglett, Tauros, or something like that? Professor Oak's heart skipped a beat. After living in Palatown for so many years, it's not like no one has ever made such a joke before. The trainer accidentally fell into a smelly ditch and was surrounded by many Grimers. To get away, throw Pokemon balls wildly. Suddenly, all the Grimers in the stinking ditch were subdued and teleported to him. He would never forget opening the baby ball with excitement on his face. As a result, a group of Grimers exuding a disgusting stench crawled out from inside. If you capture 3 Pokemon in one go and teleport them over, there's a high probability that you will capture the type of Pokemon that live in groups. With a generous and sacrificial expression on Professor Oak's face, he resolutely picked up the 3 treasure balls. Then he gritted his teeth and stomping tantrum and released them all in one breath. Immediately, the whole person hid behind an experimental instrument at the speed of light. No stench. Very good. Not Grimer. Is that Tauros or Diglett? Spearow, Caterpie, Beedrill? I noticed that there was no disgusting smell in the air. Professor Oak first let out a long sigh of relief. Then he guessed in his mind while sticking his head out to look. The eyes are round, with 3 aqua blue heads that have the same name as a certain part. Okay. It turns out to be Squirtle. Wait, Squirtle? Professor Oak paused. 1, 2, 3. 3 full Squirtless. Did Xiaozhi rob an official alliance breeding house? This thing is almost impossible to find in the wild. Professor Oak felt his heart twitching. I quickly called my old friends at various breeder centers. I learned that Squirtle was not lost in the breeder centers across Kanto and even in the breeding houses below. Then he breathed a sigh of relief, his expression extremely complicated. I suggest you check this guy's longevity to see how many years he has left. Jenny? The 3 little ones looked at the startled Professor Oak in front of them and let out a confused growl. Is this the boss's boss, the old man in a white coat who the boss said would take care of them? Why don't you look very smart? Forget it. You 3 can stay in the pond at the back for now. My assistant will deliver 3 meals a day. Professor Oak, who was doubting his life, came to his senses and arranged the 3 Squirtless in front of him. The 3 Squirtless in front of Guang could probably surpass the 40 or so Pokemon that his good grandson Gary had caught before. I didn't expect that Xiaozhi would become a blockbuster, even if he didn't make a sound. Jenny. The 3 little Squirtless left the laboratory obediently and ran to live in the pond in the backyard. Oops, my instant noodles. After arranging the three little ones, Professor Oak remembered something. He reached out and patted his smooth forehead, where the hairline was gradually receding, and hurried over. As expected, the water was boiled dry and the noodles were lumpy. Ding! Mission completed. Squirtle joins the team. Obtain mission rewards. Immutable Stone 1. Top Charcoal 1. Carrying this prop, the power of fire skills is plus 50%, and the normal charcoal effect is 20%. The prop rewards have been stored in the system space and can be taken out at any time. Once taken out, they cannot be put back again. Items currently stored in the system space. Top Quality Metal Coat 1. Top Quality Charcoal 1. Charizard Breeder Manual. Immutable Stone 1. Pokemon. Squirtle level. LV29 ability. Riptide Potential. Elite level skills. Water Gun. Aqua Tail. Rain Dance. Tackle. Etc. Intimacy. 200. Full value 255. What to carry? None. As expected, Squirtle's potential is also quite good, reaching elite level. Ability is normal to Squirtle's Riptide. When the HP is less than 1/3, the power of the Water-type skill is increased to 1.5 times its original value. You will get the ultimate output when you have remaining health. Compared with the terrifying physical strength brought by the hidden ability of Upon, each has its own advantages and disadvantages. In addition to this, the level of intimacy is also very high, although she lost a bet to Xiaozhi and became his Pokemon. But Earl Dervish's intimacy level is also 200 points, which is quite good. Xiaozhi glanced at Squirtle's information with satisfaction. Immediately, his consciousness was immersed in several items in the system space. Chapter 45. Waiting for the heavy rain since starting the trip. I have received many props and rewards through system tasks, but many of them were transformed into Pokemon Strength by Xiaozhi in time. For example, Pikachu's Light Ball, Pidgeotto's exclusive Golden Rooster Feed, Bulbasaur's Premium Miracle Seed, etc. Or maybe it was taken out before for various reasons. For example, the Misty Collector's Edition photo album, which has a very tempting name and very deceptive content, and the medium-grade water stone, etc. He casually took out the immutable stone from the system space and gave it to Bulbasaur to carry with him to ensure that it would not evolve suddenly due to any accident. The only ones left in the system space are the best metal coat, the best charcoal, and the Charizard breeder manuals. Putting aside the top-notch metal coat for now, Xiaozhi plans to conquer Miyachashin's giant onyx when the time comes, or a crystal onyx over there in the Orange Islands. It will come in handy then, but that crystal onyx's entire body is made of crystal. Normal onyx no longer has the weakness of being afraid of the water type, but instead is afraid of fire. It remains to be seen whether it can be evolved using metal coat. Let's see then. Maybe I met a Scyther who liked it in advance. I just gave the best metal coat to Scyther and used it to evolve Scyther. As for the remaining two items, they are all prepared for the veterans who join the team later. If I remember correctly, not long after conquering Squirtle, I should be able to meet the old Squirtle who is still just Charmander. This matter needs some caution. After all, reality is reality, and the plot is not constant for Corey. For example, the old friend Team Rocket should have appeared several times in the plot. Ever since Cerulean City was taken care of by me in advance, I haven't encountered it again. He is probably saving money to build a powerful machine to capture Pikachu, right? If he relies too much on the plot, it will be bad if he misses the old spray. If you just missed it, it would still be a small thing. Although I feel sorry for not being able to conquer the old troll, I can only hold my nose and accept the reality. But the problem is that the old fan was abandoned by Trainer during the Charmander period, and it was raining heavily at that time. In the original plot, if it weren't for herself and Xiaojing, Misty would have discovered it in time and protected the flame on its tail that symbolizes vitality. Take it to Nurse Joy for treatment. The old spray is absolutely dead. What if Lao Peng loses his life because of his mistake with Lao Peng? That is the real regret. Thinking of this, Xiaozhi felt a sense of urgency in his heart. We must find the old spray as soon as possible. Ding! Trigger the system task and find Charmander before its vitality dissipates. Task completion reward. Charmander's exclusive tempering once. clear all congenital or acquired bad contest condition, and restore to health. Mission time limit, 3 days. Just as I was thinking about it, a message flowed through my mind. It was the system that issued him the task of finding Charmander. When he saw the task time limit, Xiaozhi felt temporarily relieved. Judging from the mission time limit, everything is still in time. Xiaozhi recalled in his mind the memory of watching the Muji TV animation in his previous life. At that time, after he conquered the Squirtle plot and before Bill's lighthouse plot, he met Charmander, who was soaked in the rain on a stone and waiting for the trainer to pick it up. There's also a Pokemon Center in the wild near the boulder where you encounter Charmander. If you hadn't been running around in the original plot, the target would have been very good lock-on. It must be near those limited Pokemon Centers. After some analysis in his mind, Xiaozhi and Misty, who seemed extremely excited after conquering Squirtle, came to the nearest town. First, he had a good meal and offered sacrifices to his 5 internal organs temple, which had been depleted for a long time. Then we rented 2 affordable rooms in a hotel to rest. Misty said, "Woo," and eagerly went to take a bath. Xiaozhi simply washed up, changed his clothes, and went out. Went to the weather forecast center in the town and checked the weather forecast for several surrounding areas. Although in the Pokemon world, powerful Pokemon can even affect the sky. But obviously, from here to this area near Bill Lighthouse, which is almost similar to the Trainer Novice Village, there won't be such a big boss. Excluding the interference of Pokemon factors, the technological level of humans in the Pokemon world is achieved. Predicting the weather is not difficult. Through the rainy day elimination method, Xiaozhi finally identified a Pokemon Center on the map. As expected, that's it. Xiaozhi put down the pencil and pushed the non-existent frame on the bridge of his nose. The preparations have been made. Time will do the rest. As for now, let's go back to the hotel and have a good rest. After several days of high-intensity leveling, even with his mega rookie physique. Also a little tired. In the weather forecast, the heavy rain will start in 2 days. Have a night's rest and set off tomorrow. Early on the second day, Xiaozhi took Misty and rushed to the Pokemon Center he had designated. Although Misty was surprised that Xiaozhi had a clear purpose along the way. Not even interested in fighting wild Pokemon when they encounter them. But she was smart and didn't choose to ask. There are too many mysteries about Xiaozhi. If he wants to say it, he will tell himself naturally. Smart people will not choose to reveal other people's secrets because they are smart. That way we don't even have to be friends. After 2.5 hours of traveling, Xiaozhi and Misty arrived at the Pokemon Center. This is a Pokemon Center built next to a road. It's not a big place, and it's a place to provide rest and necessary medical services to Pokemon trainers passing by. There's also a Nurse Joy station there. However, many aspects such as professional skills cannot be compared with those of Nurse Joy in big cities. He is considered a marginalized member of the Joy family. After checking in here, use your Pokédex as proof of identity. Xiaozhi has been quietly waiting for the heavy rain to come. Chapter 46. Find the old troll and record the evidence of the crime 2 days later. A heavy rain came as expected. Pokemon Center cafeteria. You don't know how stupid that Charmander is. I lied to it and told it to wait for me at the stone, and I would pick it up when the time came. He's probably still standing there stupidly waiting for me to pass by. A few boys who were obviously followers looked at him with compliments. You're still awesome, Damien. I don't want such a rare Charmander. We're still catching Caterpie, Rattata, and so on. Oh, that Charmander is so useless. It can't even hold someone else's Squirtle's water gun. It's useless if you keep it. So what if it's rare? At that time, I will ask my father to find me a more powerful Pokemon. Oh, that guy is really too much. Xiaozhi, why did you stop me and not let me teach him a lesson? People like this who don't value Pokemon at all, abandon it, and give it false hope deserve the harshest punishment. At the dining table not far away, Misty, who was about to rush out, looked at Xiaozhi, who was holding her back, and asked incomprehensively, "Don't worry, Misty. He'll get the punishment he deserves." And it was the punishment given to him personally by Charmander, whom he once looked down upon. Xiaozhi put away the Pokemon Pokédex that was being recorded and finally gave the scumbag a cold look. Quest accepted. Use the Charmander abandoned by Damien to defeat Damien and give the opponent enough punishment. Mission Reward. Magical Speed Potion. Pokemon can increase its speed by 10% after using it. Okay, Xiaozhi, I listen to you. Xiaozhi's always reliable image made Misty calm down. As a trainer who also loves Pokemon, she believes that the solution given by Xiaozhi will not disappoint. Pidgeotto, Butterfree, you too can fly, go farther away, and see if there is any trace of Charmander. Pikachu, follow me, and Misty. Gyarados, Bulbasaur, Squirtle, please go out and look for it. Come out, Staryu, Squirtle, please follow me and search for him. Dragging Misty out of the Pokemon Center, Xiaozhi released.
No more novels? Take part in the voting. The most requested novels and those with the most likes will be chosen for publication on euroaudiobooks.com. There, I can upload as much as I want without the risk of receiving a strike. Our 18 novels and other content that exceed what is morally acceptable are only published on Patreon or the free novels page. Remember, the site is funded by donations on Ko-fi and Patreon memberships.